All right, welcome back. Co's Unfrozen. The memory leak is no more, and drop frames is once again moving forward. Uh, sorry about that, but I'm glad that we were able to save the VOD because I have to catch a flight like an hour after the show today, so that's good.
Ooh,
Anyways,
where you going?
Oh yeah, you're going to SF for the Avengers premiere.
yep, I'm going to
Oh,
SF.
cool.
Yeah,
Wait,
not
SF? Isn't that where they're also doing the Borderlands stuff?
yeah, but funny enough, I'm actually not staying for that. I'm coming back. I think that's in LA. Is it?
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think that's LA. Yeah, I think it's LA. Let's talk Anno. I've been wanting to talk with someone about this game that's not Max because me and Max have this. We played for 40 hours
good.
together. So
That means I can go to the bathroom.
okay, yeah, feel free. So yeah, Anno's a thing. I put I don't know 45 hours into this probably total, and the amount of time that I put into this is directly related to how many times I restart because I hit tier 4 and it's just like, oh, everything's fucking up. Let's just restart. And so that's my experience with it. And I talked a little bit about it last week, so I'll kind of let you spearhead the discussion here. But what do you think of Anno 1800?
Anno 1800 is 95% amazing. It's really cool. There's tons to do. You're constantly being challenged. There's lots of different ways to play, which is pretty awesome. The creativity aspect of it is massive. I have watched many different streamers play it, and almost all of them do something unique in their own regard. Many follow like the same type of thing, but then it comes when like there's a lot of nuance in this game because there's so many different ways to do things that it's really cool seeing like how each streamer kind of approaches that. But I love it, man. I mean, there's definitely a few things that I think could be deeper, and there's definitely a few things that I think the game is missing. But as this is like my first real Anno game, I am super impressed and honestly like completely sold on the franchise. You will see me be playing every Anno game that comes out in the future.
Yeah.
Like it was, yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Also love the campaign.
I tried to play the campaign and it straight up bugged out on me. Like I couldn't move the quest forward after, like when you get the dynamite to blow open to the iron mines or whatever on the left, for whatever reason, that quest just like bugged out on me. This is right around the first couple of days of full launch, so that might have been a bug that they eventually patched. But yeah. Does it go on much further from that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's like a whole big thing of you like the campaign goes into the new world, and then there's a bunch of stuff you have to do there, and then you have to come back and do a bunch of stuff, and then there's like combat parts, and it was fun, man. It's what's kind of nice about the campaign is it definitely touches all of the main mechanics of the game. So there's like city building stuff. There's like giant city building stuff where you have like one huge structure to work on. There's combat parts. There's expansion parts. There's expedition parts. So all that I think at one point it even teaches you like how to do the trade stuff properly, I think. But yeah, it really kind of goes into all the different stuff, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I said, we put 40 hours into it. My 90% of that playtime was co-op with Max, and so
How was that?
It works flawlessly until one person decides to disconnect, and then problems start arising. The other thing that is good, and I understand why it's there, but it's also bad if you're restarting because you've already played for 10 hours and you know something went wrong and you're like, well, let's just restart, because that's kind of what these games are about in some sense, because you can't go past normal speed. You cannot speed up in multiplayer, and so you're stuck to normal speed, which is, you know, it has its pluses and minuses. If you're waiting on ships to build, you kind of just have to sit there and wait for your ships to build. You can't speed up. Or if you're waiting for a building that you just added in to start fixing your economy, then you're just waiting. And so there's a lot of waiting involved with that. And then if someone leaves, it gets kind of weird.
So wait a second. You're saying that if two people are playing, one person can leave and the other person can keep playing?
Yes. It basically makes the other person kind of like I wouldn't say AI, but all of their mechanisms just continue moving forward, but they don't actually grow. Like no buildings are put down. They just kind of continue existing and they accrue money. And then as far as I understand, I can join back in if the other person continues that game, and it'll be as if I left at that point and have come back and have accrued X amount of money over time.
So wait, you say accrue money. So it's very easy in this game to go into the negative and then go bankrupt and have terrible things happen.
Right.
If a player were to leave when he was getting negative money, would he then log back into play with you with like a bankrupt kingdom, essentially?
Yes. And the other thing that happens that we found out was I pushed into tier 4 way too fast. Tier 4, you have to approach very cautiously in this game, I found out.
You have to be balanced before you go into T4.
Yes, yeah, without a doubt. And I was not. I just was like, I want to see this new building. Let's put, okay, that's a factory right there. Let's put down the power plant here. Oh, look at the train. That's cool. And then I was like, oh God, I'm earning negative 4,000 right now. And I only have about 40,000. This is going bad. And like, as I'm in the process of fixing that, it just comes up with a screen that says defeat, and you have to leave the game. And it kicks you from the game.
Do you know why that happens in T4, by the way?
I have my theories for it, but I never actually figured it out. No.
So get this. Your income is based on how many people stay in the houses.
Right.
When you go to T4, there's a resource that they use faster that is required by T3.
Is it the rum?
So what happens is all of a sudden, yes, all of a sudden,
makes sense.
These more resources are being used and it throws your existing stuff out of whack. And then not only are you dealing with the new people leaving, but you're dealing with the old people you lost for the new people. And then all of your old people start leaving because they're not getting other required stuff. So if you can't like get that solved quickly, then I almost went into a tailspin too. The only reason that I didn't lose is because I happened to have been saving. So I had 500,000. By the time I actually fixed it, I had like less than 100,000 gold. So like it would have been terrible. But once you get it balanced again, it's fine. But yeah, it's real rough. It's real rough.
Yeah.
And I think there's actually a couple other resources too. Rum and
cloth. The cloth threads or whatever.
The bowler hat. The bowler hats of the New World. But yeah. Seriously.
Yes, yeah. Then the coffee and then the boulder hats. That's right around the time where I stopped because I kept getting so unbelievably frustrated with this idea of like the ships from going New World to Old World. I like that system in terms of what it is. I hate it in practice because you just have like there's no data being fed to me on how long this shit is going to take. And so the only way that I found to ever know what that balance is by using this fan-made Anno calculator where you type in your exact population and it spits out the exact buildings that you need. And the only way that I knew that is because Max used it after I had already left the game. I was like, Max, you're going to be a guinea pig. Test this shit for us so we can see if it actually works. And sure enough, he added like the exact buildings that were said to balance it out through this calculator, and it worked. But without that, you're kind of just like, I guess this is, hopefully that works. If not, we'll add more.
And you just stumbled upon the 5% of the game that this game, or the 5% this game is missing.
Yeah.
And this is something that I was very vocal about throughout my playthrough. And honestly, I wasn't going to go back to Anno. I ended up going back to Anno yesterday, but only because I couldn't play Mortal Kombat because the Mortal Kombat guys screwed up the PC release early. But what this game is missing big time is any type of usage or production over time. We need graphs that can go back 6 months or a year, and we can see, oh, it takes 3 months for my ship to get from the New World to here, and then it drops off 150 rum, and then it takes 2 months for that rum to wear out. You know, like if we had access to that information, then we could easily say, oh, in that case, I need to bring more rum. You know, like it allows the balance, but none of that stuff is there, first of all. And then second of all, you have like 30 things to balance by T4.
Yes.
And every time you grow out your realm, you potentially throw off a huge amount of stuff. And it's even worse if you're growing out higher tiers. Because when you grow out a higher tier, you're gaining people in another area. You're losing people in another area. You may be gaining a whole set of new requirements. So it's like all this stuff changes super quick. And you have no access to the information to tell you long-term what you need to balance.
Yep.
Now, of course, this is where it gets interesting. Because as my first Anno game, I'm sitting here going, this is insane. Like this entire game is based around this stuff. Yeah. How can you not give the player this information? Like when I click on a warehouse, there's this little tiny arrow, and it's either like pointing down red or pointing up green. And I'm sitting here the first day, like, can I shift click on it? Can I right click? How do I pull up my use over time? Like this arrow means nothing. I need to know what this arrow was a month ago.
And that
trend is too.
Dude, the trend is so misleading because like you can have a shipment go out that you're trading where it just grabs 50 of X
And it'll
unit.
tell you that you're losing.
Yeah,
by
and it's like you're greatly decreasing -3, and it's like, okay,
It
well, let
will-
me
it will
add on
tell you
30 pig
in the new
farms.
world. In the new world, it will tell you that your rum stores on an island with 12 rum fields
Yes.
is decreasing greatly because you have a trade ship constantly taking rum to the old world from that port. And it's like, that makes 0 sense. Like, no, that island is making shit tons of rum. It should be like 7 up arrows. It should never be 2 down arrows.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. So, as my first Anno game, I'm sitting here saying all this stuff. Like, I can't believe this is ridiculous. But then people in chat are telling me that apparently in the last Anno, that's exactly what the devs did. They provided a huge amount of information over time, and Anno fans said, we don't want this.
Sure. And
Anno
I get
fans
that.
said, the point of this game is what you're spoon feeding us right now. Like, take all this out. So apparently a lot of this was taken out by the Anno fans for the new game, and there's been so much pushback that now they're saying, okay, we're going to look at putting in a building that will then give you access to those functions. So supposedly there is a statistics building coming down the road that
That's
is
what I heard.
relatively early here. And if you build it, then at that point it starts collecting data and will like give you data over time, which is great. So that's kind of fun because then it's like, if you want to play it the old way, just don't build a building. But if you want this information, just build the building. So, and I think that's a great solution. And honestly, that will probably get me to return to the game.
I would say so, yeah. Because like I said, we specifically restarted 4 times in co-op, which were on about 10 hours each game or 9 hours each game. And finally, I just got to a point where I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of restarting, Max. Like, I'm tired of this. Is just the same cycle that has happened the past 4 times, and nothing is changing. I'm hitting tier 4, and then the ping pong starts, and it's one of the most frustrating things sitting there and just watching it go, whoop, and then a rum trade comes in, whoop, and then it goes away, and then a fur trade hits.
Dude,
whoop.
For my main 4 city, by like right when I upgraded to T5, I had 2 different cargo ships, which are the
steam
6
thing?
squadron.
Yeah.
Each one of those was bringing 150 rum per trip.
And it was
So like
finally
I had,
enough.
oh yeah, finally enough. I had to saturate. Everyone was an alcoholic. It was like, oh, welcome to the world. You were just born. Here's your rum.
Yeah.
It was yeah. Whew, my lord, it's just a town of drunks.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
happy.
Yeah, they
They're
were
giving me
finally
money.
happy. Well, the other thing I think the game does in a to kind of mislead you is this idea that, and it's definitely something that I saw people in chat telling me to do, and it was my own actions in game that was reinforcing it. When you start to lose money, a quick fix is to look at your population and say, oh, well, I've got 612 surplus workers. If I change those guys to artisans, my money's going to spike like right out of the gate. And so I was like, okay, well, that's good because now my money just, went up 4,000 to 5,000. But then about 30 minutes later, they start actually wanting things, and then it goes straight back down.
Then all those people that moved in start moving out.
Yes.
And that's when it gets real bad.
Yep. Yeah. And what do you think? How do you feel about the royal tax thing? Because that system's kind of weird. I understand why it's there, and maybe we should explain what the royal tax system is before we discuss it. But I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I was gonna say, well, in the story, it kind of has a story thing. So I'm actually kind of related, or I'm interested to hear what you think about it because there's story. So you go first, like kind of explain what the system is and everything, and then
my loose understanding, I want to preface it with that, is that royal tax is there so that you can't stockpile population for an economy boost, and it's there to balance out the idea of if you go over like 1,000 artisans, your income will be very high. But the royal tax is there to push that income down so that you don't just get this giant boom of money for sitting at a population and literally effectively doing nothing except just increasing your population. And so that's why it was explained to me, and that's why I understand the royal tax to be there, is so that you can't skyrocket a certain population and get a giant amount of income and just sit there without ever having to really balance it or do anything with it. But what is the single player thing that you were referencing?
In the single player thing, it kind of, well, I guess you can spoil it, so I'm going to be a little bit careful. In the single player, you basically follow the story of your father who was really tight, close with the queen, and kind of what happened to him, and you kind of inherit it. So you're kind of tied to the crown in a lot of ways. In fact, like later on, the crown is like directly involved with a lot of stuff that happens.
Mhm.
So the premise that you're kind of paying them tax and stuff just kind of like fits in that regard. I will say that it was very strange towards the end of the game when I was losing so much money to see the royal tax going up.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. Like I didn't really understand it because I noticed that every time I'd look at my people to figure out where I was losing folks. Because by the way, that's essentially the T4 in the end game. Is you mouse over the top of your people and your income, and it will show you all of your population amounts, and you just look for the one going down. That's the game. Is you find the population going down, and then you go over to them and you figure out as fast as possible what are you missing. You're going down because you're missing something. So how do I fix this? And then like it's just reactionary, back forth, back forth, back forth. Anytime you're losing money, immediately mouse over that number. Who is leaving, and how do I fix this hole in the boat?
It's effectively the game's a giant balance sheet. It from the very beginning, really. But yeah.
Absolutely.
So I never saw a single tier 5 investor building or anything like that. What is some of the stuff there? I don't think it's really a spoiler, but I guess you can make that decision.
Now, the T5 is a little bit interesting because T5 sort of doesn't really exist because T5 investors.
Okay.
And do investors work, JP? Well, investors don't do any work. So you don't even get a working pool for T5. There's nothing. So when you upgrade T5, you get like money, you get income, but there's no like T5 buildings. There's no like there's a few things that require like 0 of 1 investors. So like building the best boat requires that you have an investor in your capital. And there are a few buildings that unlock. Like there's a big World's Fair, and there's a few little buildings that you need to supply the investors with like happiness items with. But it's not like a normal tier where you rank up to tier 4 and then all of a sudden you're using all of your tier 4 workers to make a bunch of tier 4 goods. That's not what T5 is like at all. It's like the epilogue of the if the other 4 are chapters, it's like the epilogue is T5.
That makes me feel a little bit better because I was always like, I'm never going to see tier 5.
Like, yeah, investors give a lot of money, like a lot of money. So if you can kind of like, if you're struggling, if you're like right on the cusp of struggling at T4 and you can somehow upgrade to T5, like it may be worth it to try to balance out your sheets while you're figuring the rest out.
Yeah. I think that's another thing too, is lack of information for me in the new world. For the longest time, for like 2 or 3 reloads, I didn't know that whatever the tier 2 is in the new world is like the final tier. And so I was very worried about, I was very worried about island space and just like completely taking over an island with rum or cotton or whatever. Because I was like planning for the future that didn't exist, in a sense of I was planning for more tier 3, tier 4, but no one let me know that it didn't exist. So
I ran into something similar actually. And then when I found out the otherwise, I built giant farming colonies. Like I have entire islands covered with crops and cocoa and cotton, and like it's great.
That's what
it's
you're
like
supposed to do.
Village.
Yeah,
I just keep them drunk and they're happy.
And I would think did you finish the single player campaign?
I did. Well, technically, I finished the main story and I got to the end, but when the end happens, it kind of like sort of flips over to sandbox mode in the existing world, and it does give you another goal, but the goal is to like a little spoilery, but you get a new area to develop, and the goal is basically like to develop the area. So I think I don't think there's really much story stuff left. It's just kind of like goals to keep the carrot on the stick kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because my understanding it would make sense to me as if they use kind of the campaign as the tutorialization of the game, and hopefully explain, you only go tier 2, so you should probably just take over these entire islands. But I played purely sandbox, so there was no learning.
Is resource farming.
Yeah,
that's all. Like that's how you view the new world. Like basically, the new world is there to support the old world. It's very, very little in terms of what you do.
Yeah, makes sense. But you can tell by how much we've gabbed about this game. We obviously both really like it, and I think it's pretty much like universally liked by people that played it, except for kind of the things that we hit on, the 5% of. We just want more data. Like we just want more information on stuff.
And it sounds like they're working on it.
Yeah, it does. It does.
But this is a game, dude. I would love to see DLCs. I would love to see more main story arcs. Like this is they have an extremely awesome foundation in this game. and I really hope they keep going with it. Also, I gotta say, I can't wait to see the next Anno. Like this game has got me excited. Like a Sim City modern day Anno, or like a new futuristic Anno. Like I can't. Yeah, I'm an Anno fan now.
Same here. I'm into the franchise without a doubt. They've got. I don't know if you saw the season pass includes a like ice map or something. So if you go to the world map and you look to like the north, there's an entire like Antarctica looking thing there art wise. And part of the DLC
cool.
is that they're so they're basically going to expand to the north. I don't know what that'll be or what it'll actually expand on tech wise, but whenever that does launch, I'll probably go back and
yes, for those saying this in chat, what I would love is an Anno 2255 that is a combination with the most recent BattleTech game. So you have all the fun city building aspect of Anno, and then whenever combat starts, it's a turn-based XCOM style giant mech game. I'll take 2 to go.
That would be kind of fun if this was like a component of a larger game. That would be a fucking huge game if this was a component.
Multiple planet types. Like you'd have to go wow with it. Yeah. Some people are mentioning this in chat, and it is important to kind of mention this too. Anno 2142. Oh my God, be still my heart. It is important to mention though that outside of the statistic issue, there are some other issues with the games, with the game itself. There's a few bugs. And one of the biggest issues I'd say is the naval combat is very, very light in terms of depth, and the AI at times is very questionable.
Just
very questionable AI.
Yeah.
Well, like all sorts of things. Like I ran into a situation where I would send ships to go certain directions, and they just wouldn't go. The patrol system is one of the worst systems I've ever seen because apparently, like if you click on a ship that's on a trade route, it will overlay the trade route and you can clearly see where it's going and everything. But if you put a ship on patrol, there's zero UI feedback. It doesn't show you the patrol points. It doesn't show you the path, nothing. So you're basically just flying blind, clicking, hoping that it's working. When you move ships as a group, sometimes they'll just randomly split and go different directions. When you're moving ships as a group, sometimes they will go incredibly slow. And then if you select individual and click the exact same place, every ship in the group will start moving faster.
Yeah. It's a pain.
And then of course combat, the weird thing about the combat is the ships have to, all of the previous ships. There's steam ships later in the game that have turrets that can turn, and it's not a big deal for them. But the ships in the early and mid game are classic like galleons and like frigates and stuff. So they have to be broadside to fire their cannons. They cannot fire cannons if they're going straight on. Well, sometimes the AI will refuse to angle the ship left and right. So you will be sailing towards another ship that is firing at you, and instead of your ship turning and firing back, he will sit there and get shot at all the way until he gets right up to it, and then he'll sort of turn and then start firing. And it's like, dude, some cases that's the difference between winning and losing a fight. It's just like, come on, man. There's a lot of little weird ship stuff. I'm sure it'll be patched out over time. But yeah, it's a little weird.
I stayed away from a lot of the fighting stuff. Funny enough, Max was all about the fighting. So much so that when I don't know what AI people, or I guess to start this, what difficulty were you playing on? Were you just playing straight normal?
I think so.
Okay. We were idiots and played on advanced, which probably led to why we were having a lot of issues when it came to the ping pong effect, because your income is medium and not normalized. So I'm already earning less right from the get-go. And islands have certain stuff. The difficulty stuff definitely, if you're going to play this game for the first time and you're brand new to the Anno series, do not play on advanced. That's all I'll say, because it complicates things a lot, and I'm an idiot for doing it. It's
complicated on normal, man.
Yeah, we're idiots for doing it. But when you use propaganda in your newspapers, so to explain that system, there's a journalist and he pops up and it says like, hey, here's what's going to be printed. And you can kind of mix and match and choose different bonuses that are propaganda in the newspaper that'll increase like consumerism or reduce riot percentage chance and stuff like that. And the more that you do that, depending on the AI that's in the game, as you put propaganda in there, the AI will start to decrease like friendship with you. And so I did it so many times that they were eventually like, hey, fucking stop that. We're going to war. And so they went to war with me, and I'm just like, Max, I don't have any ships, Max. And he's like, well, I don't want to go to war with these guys. It's like, well, I'm going to die, Max, because he's coming to my fucking harbor right now, and I have nothing. And I look at Max's army, and he's got like 20 ships, 20 ship of the lines, which are like the big, one of the bigger ships that you can get in the beginning of the game. And he's just sitting there. And he goes, all right, I guess I'll go to war. So Max goes to war on behalf of me with this AI and starts fighting him. And what do? Well, I'm like, oh, let's push towards this steam harbor and see if we can get any steamships. 3 hours later, I have produced 0 ships. Max is still fighting the war for me. It just livid the entire time. So you got to be very careful with that type of stuff because the game doesn't like tell you that outright, which I think in some sense is fine because of the situation that I just described. But some sort of like, hey, if you do this, the AI is going to get pissed over time and X will happen would be nice.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better. Once you build the steam harbor, I'm sure you then learned that you can't make the best ship because you aren't T5.
That's exactly what happened, and that's why I bankrupted myself.
Did you look at the damage on them?
Yeah, they're shit. They suck. The ship of the lines are better. That's exactly what happened, dude. And a completely
Now, here's the thing. The old ones are technically better because for 2 key reasons. One, they don't have to be facing their target, so they can fire while running. They can.
Right.
They also have a much larger range, so you can actually get down the previous tier ships before they can fire on you in the new ships. Okay. So they are really strong. But statistic wise, there's the ship of the line is like almost twice the damage.
Yeah, and that pissed like. I learned that because once again, 20 plus hours of watching Max fight. Because Max he loves to go all in on some AI people and just like put 20 ships of the lines in their harbor and just go to war and take over the island, which is great. So I had watched him do that for 20 plus hours, and I'm thinking, well, I really need that island because I can put a commuter ship there, then start mining more iron, and that's going to push me further into tier 4. So let's do that. I'm going to get a steam ship, whatever it is, the battle. I forgot what it's called. You might remember it. Whichever one of the warship maybe is the first steamship.
Battle cruiser.
Battle cruiser. So I built a battle cruiser, and it comes out of, oh, this thing's fucking cool. And like you said, the stats are better on ship of the lines, but I didn't know that because it's not displayed anywhere unless you kind of dive into the menus. So I build one of those, and I build 7 ship of the lines. And I go into one of the AI's like main harbors, and I'm like, all right, here we go. I've got a bunch of ships. We're going to take over this island. It's going to go great. Max is finally going to get off my back because I'm finally fighting in the war. I go to war, and I lose in like 30 seconds. I lose every ship that I had. Just complete loss. And I'm at war with the best AI in the game. And I just tell Max, I'm like, Max, I'm done, dude. I'm going to go. We've been going for 10 hours. I'm just going to alt F4 in the stream because I lost absolutely everything. And we weren't doing any reloads or anything like that when we would mess up. So that's how I learned that the ship of the lines are better than steamboats. So, yeah.
Now, how earlier I said there's different ways to play?
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I don't think either of us did too much, and when I play it again, I'm certainly going to focus on this more, is there is an entire mini game in turning your ships into absolute behemoths via the items for sale from the NPC places. So, and I didn't really find this out at the end of my game. Like, dude, at the end of my game, I had 6 ship of the lines that all had a mortar on them.
Oh,
now, a mortar
damn.
Item you can click, and then you can click somewhere outside of the ship's firing range, and it will shoot a mortar for 200 damage.
Holy
so I
shit.
could come up against anything, like those turrets at pirate bases. I could blow them up before my ships were in range of them.
Damn. Okay.
You can also get torpedoes that attack for 1,000 damage a hit. So you can load up a ship with torpedoes and
You started repeating. I'm like, oh god, the memory leak is advancing. What's happening?
No, it's thanks to this guy. He just walked past my. It's all thanks to him.
Nice.
This guy's called Letho the Stream Slayer. He's earned his moniker.
Nice.
Many times.
That
It's just one of those
good.
times. Sorry about that.
That was pretty
yeah. So anyway, it's awesome. So there's you can get armor plating, you can get better engines, you can get things that increase the firing rate, things that make it so you don't take as much damage from shots.
So are those pirate rewards, or what are those? Like, what are those classified?
Like, in the main story, you basically start next to this island.
Right.
And the dude on the island who represents the queen basically just always has a new stock of these really rare things.
Huh.
And on top of that, going into like item-based gameplay, there's also a huge amount of insanely lucrative items that you can put in town halls, harbor master ports, trade unions, and the difference in a game from a person utilizing trade unions effectively and someone who's not using them at all is monstrously different. I watched a streamer. Unfortunately, it wasn't a very big streamer. He didn't even have a camera. And he was like, he had only been streaming for a couple weeks, but he was apparently an Anno god. Like the dude knew exactly what he was talking about. I can't remember his name. I can try to find it. But he was basically using trade, like he designed his cities to where all of his infrastructure was completely covered in trade unions. And then he would have a ship parked next to the sales area. And every 30 seconds, he'd pop down and look at that ship and, is there anyone I want? No. Okay. And then he'd go do something else. Okay. Is there anything I want? And you look in his trade unions and his stuff, and like all of his stuff had better production, like less chance of fire, like his town hall, all of his people were super happy all the time. And it was crazy, man. It was a completely different way to play the game because I didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
None of it.
I
Super wild.
sent a ton of expeditions out for like zoo. Like my zoo was fucking, I had like 30 different exhibits of just random animals, which is awesome. But I didn't really go down the path. I knew those items existed, but I didn't know that they were like that vital to, or could be that much of a boon.
Exactly. They're not like, you can clearly play the game without any of them if you don't want to. You can just ignore it completely. Or you can invest in it completely and really utilize it and get these crazy powerful benefits. It's a fun system.
Yeah.
It really requires a lot of care and a lot of know-how, but it's very fun.
Yeah. It's a hell of a game. I mean, we've covered the funny thing is there's so many systems still that we haven't even talked about. Like the stock system is great. I never really got into that too much, except for once I realized what the stock system was, then it was like, oh shit, I should like.
Do you mean the share purchase system?
Oh yeah, the system, shares rather, system. The influence system, I didn't even discover that menu till about 35 hours in, and that was a big revelation. There's a lot of different subsystems within this game, so if you're looking for something to really sink your teeth into, this seems like a good thing.
You could get hundreds of hours out of this game if you wanted to.
Yep.
Like, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then you could get another 100 playing it a different way.
You really
so,
could.
yeah.
You really could. It's
cool.
a hell of a game. We didn't touch on too much or really any of the Epic Game Store controversy, but I think that's because we both just bought it through Uplay. Is that what you did?
No, I got it through Epic.
Okay. Was there any... I heard a couple... I think Day9 was tweeting that he had some issues with the Epic Game Store stuff. Is that...
Yes, I actually ran into the exact same issue the day of release. Yeah.
Okay.
So there was this really weird issue where the preload download on the Epic Store apparently didn't match something that the Uplay store wanted. So the premise was that you could download it in Uplay or in Epic, and then you could open it in Epic, and it would then open in Uplay and work. But the issue is that didn't work. So essentially, if you downloaded it on Epic, then you would open it. It would open it up in Uplay. Uplay would see that the stuff it was expecting wasn't there, and then it would download it all over again. So I mean, it was just basic technical issues. Like someone didn't have the right flag or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. In terms of the Epic stuff, no, it wasn't a big controversy. I mean, I hate to say it, and I hate to be that defeatist individual, like many, and that defeatist jaded individual. But every single exclusive is less and less a deal than the last one, and that's just how it's going to be over and over and over for the next couple of years until we all eventually forget about it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's fine.
It's going to work. So
all those people have moved on to the Mortal Kombat drama this week, so that's already forgotten about for the Anno stuff, and now it's in Mortal Kombat, which we'll get to in a bit. Because I want to swap over to some Indie Sunday stuff. Because Zeke did Indie Sunday on Monday this week, and you played a bunch of different games. I'm looking at 6 different games that you jumped into here. So
let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, one of them doesn't really count though, because it was it fooled me because it was a re-release.
Oh, okay.
So it's on the Steam page. It says 2019, but it came out in like 1997 or something.
Right.
I honestly thought we'll get to it, but I honestly thought it was a made to look old, on purpose. Well, it was actually old.
Let's start with Burning Daylight, which was the first game you jumped into.
Yes, Burning Daylight. Now, I'm not sure, JP. I'm just gonna tell you, like, there's animated wiener in this. It's far away, but
okay.
The premise of the story is Burning Daylight. I'll read the blurb first. Waking up naked in a slaughterhouse, you must escape and travel through a dystopian world to uncover the truth of your origins. Burning Daylight is a sci-fi adventure game set in a dystopian future with light puzzle elements and environmental storytelling. Now, this game is one of those games as art kind of a thing. Like, don't go full screen. Never go full screen. No, game as art kind of thing, like Grease was, or like there's been other games that have very, very little gameplay elements, and it's just you're kind of like traversing through a story as it unfolds, kind of a thing.
Okay.
There's very, very little gameplay elements. In fact, I would venture to say like this is the lowest amount of gameplay of any game that I've ever done. However, a couple things going for it. One, it's free. It's absolutely free. It's free to play.
That's a good thing.
Price is right.
Two things. Second thing, it's a short, like hour and like maybe an hour. I played it. It looks like 93 minutes. But I fuck around and tell jokes and, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it's very well done sight and sound. Like the sound design really stands out in this. It creates tension. It builds the environment. It adds to the suspense and the mystery of it. You from the beginning of the game, you're trying to figure out what exactly is going on in the place you're in. And as you travel through, you realize that this place you're in is like I said it was remind me of a cross between Brave New World and Blade Runner. There's an overarching control scheme of all the people in the game. Everybody wears these VR headsets because of one reason or another. I mean, since it's free, I don't want to reveal anything in case you guys want to play it, or anybody in the audience wants to play it. But it has really cool environments. I mean, look at that; that's pretty neat, really stylized.
Yeah.
I will say I think someone said it was a student project from Finland, like it was a college project from Finland.
It's a hell of a job for a student game, just graphically.
VIM University or something like that.
Denmark. It's like Duke.
Sorry, Denmark. My bad. Denmark. I apologize, guys.
Denmark. That's a state near New Hampshire, right?
It is. Yeah.
Well, that's where Hamlet is from, I believe.
Oh, next to France.
Right. VIU. Thank you, VIU. That's the name of it. It's near Duke University. Good call on that. But yeah, it was just like a cool hour-long little story vignette. If you guys have seen on Netflix the Love, Death, and Robots,
yes.
Oh God,
it feels like you're playing an episode of that.
That's a pretty big sell.
That is a pretty big sell.
It's a cool vignette thing. Almost no gameplay element to it, but it reveals itself as it goes on, and it has like a weird, abrupt ending that makes you go like, oh, okay. I sort of get this. And also the ending has, if you end up playing it, something I wouldn't have noticed, the ending has a choice. Yeah, that's a big cherry. There's a guy with a big cherry, and like it's your virtual. See, did you see me getting coins?
I don't like cherries, Zeke.
He's part of the game.
Oh, he's not in real life? Okay. Thanks. Woo.
Yeah.
Feel better.
Tells me I have insufficient funds, and then the voiceover says, "Remember what the advertisement said? Beat up the cherry and get some gold."
Okay.
You knock him out, and then there you go.
All right.
But yeah, it's a really cool game. Free. Go play it.
On Steam, or did you get it from like Itch or something like that? Okay, Steam.
Cool. On Steam. Yep.
Cool.
On Steam. Burning Daylight. And also, I've started putting, if you can see in the upper left corner of the video, I've started putting the title of the game that I'm playing.
Art.
The next one.
Very smart.
God's Trigger. What is
Next one is God's Trigger. Yes.
It looks like that game you showed us last time we were on, like a month and a half ago.
It's inevitably a top-down twin stick is going to get compared to every other one that's come before it, like Hotline Miami. I played another one recently called Hong Kong Massacre.
That's the one.
This one is called God's Trigger, and you play as I believe as an angel and a demon, and your goal is to stop the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And it's kind of like everybody is like, this is like the tutorial area, so it doesn't look like the rest of the game. It's kind of like a Western. Like all the people, like the four horsemen are dressed up like cowboys of different ilk. Okay. But yeah, it plays very much like any other twin stick you've tried before. It's not as they have more upgrades and a tree system for your different weapons. They have a bigger variety of weapons, but I found that I was more akin to just use like the melee weapons, or I tried to do their stealth kills in this game. So if you sneak up behind somebody, you can stealth kill them and get more experience points and stuff like that. Nothing really super stand out about the game. Like there's nothing I can point to and go, that was excellent. I mean, it's solid. Don't get me wrong. It's solid all the way around, but nothing really that makes me like Hong Kong Massacre did, like Hotline Miami did, that made me go, this part of the game is awesome. This game just had really solid stuff all the way around. The soundtrack or the OST or whatever could have used some variety, because there's I don't know how many, but it was like a minute loop a lot of times. And I'm just like, for a game like this, you're really gonna want something that is either non-intrusive or not too repetitive. To add to the intensity of the game itself, and it didn't really do that. The game is $14.99 on Steam.
Okay.
Developed by One More Level, published by Techland Publishing. And the blurb says, slay enemies with speed and precision in an over-the-top show of blood and explosion. Play solo or with others. Oh, yeah, that's right. You can play co-op. In fact, I think it's probably designed to play with co-op, because there's two characters. There's a demon and an angel that are the main protagonists. So I'm guessing they did that with that in mind. And all of the preview videos are like all two people playing, or mostly two people playing at the same time. So I'm guessing that's the intended way to play. So if that's any indication of the game itself, then there's your information there. Dodge bullets, use weapons, ability to inflict violence in the most graphic way possible. It didn't feel like overly violent. Like, sure, there's blood on the screen and stuff like that, but Hong Kong Massacre seemed like it felt more violent than this game did, even though this one touts itself as like blood explosions everywhere.
Sure.
I don't know.
Right.
But it's a solid game. Is it worth $14.99? Tough to say. I mean, I maybe wait for a Steam sale, but the voiceovers are kind of funny too. They're not like super. I don't know. They're more community theater than they are professional VA.
Okay,
but
noted.
you know, they can add to the
What
fun
are
of the
you
game
looking
too.
for? Good.
Yeah. And
Well,
it's like
yeah, I
it's like
suppose.
yeah,
Skilled.
off-white good. It's off-white good. You know.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next up was The Dame Was Loaded.
Now that's the game I was talking about.
Oh,
This is the game that I thought, because I if you look on Steam, someone suggested it says January 28th, 2019. So I was like, oh, it's made to look old. Like, because I've played games that are, have retro on purpose. No, this game came out in 1997 originally, and they just ported it to Steam just recently. So this is a game that I played for just a little bit to get a taste, because people voted for it, and I felt like I should show them at least a little bit of the game. And boy, it's old. The interface, the UI, it's fucking old as fuck. And it's a point and click FMV game that I probably will play later on sometime down the road, because I love these kind of games. But not much to say here. It's not an indie game in the purest sense of the word, or what I intend to play when I do Indie Sundays.
Okay, we'll move on then to Supraland. Oh,
now Supraland.
I have seen this played, and the second that I saw it played, I said this is a Zeke game, and so I'm hoping I was right.
Absolutely, Supraland, a mix between Portal, Zelda, and Metroid. Explore, find secret upgrades, solve puzzles, beat up monsters, find new abilities, and help you reach new places. Came out April 5th, 2019 by Supra Games. It is $19.99 on Steam. This game was surprisingly good. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but they pack a lot of different like mini puzzle things to figure out, like this. Like, how the fuck do I get in here? And then you get an item later. I only played it for a couple of hours, so like whatever I say is not super spoilery, but you get this thing called the Force Cube, which creates like this little purple cube that you can either cast it underneath you to like boost you up or cast it on something to weigh it down. It's like the block in Zelda, like that, the red cane that makes a block. Same kind of idea. But yeah, there's tons of these little puzzle elements that you figure out. You talk to these little guys. It all takes place in a kid's sandbox. So you'll see like giant versions of like nails or erasers and stuff like that, because basically you're playing inside of a kid's sandbox. That's the entire world. Yeah, you just find upgrades and kill monsters, get money. But the real star of the show is, like I said, is the little puzzles that you come across. You'll see something with like a lever, like a Rube Goldberg device, and you're like, how the fuck do I get that to work? And then you'll go, okay, I don't think I have the right equipment. And then you'll travel around and you'll find something and go like, there it is. There's the thing I need to start this little machine to get it going, and that kind of thing. It's constant puzzles, like little tiny puzzle solving stuff. It keeps you, that's a great loop for the game that keeps you interested in it. Let me just give you an example. Like how I started was, you do this one little mini tutorial thing. The queen or the king of the land says, you need to go and fight these blue guys. I never got there. Like in the 2 hours that I was playing, like the first quest, I never really completed because there was so much little tiny shit to figure out on your way there. It was like totally shiny object game. You're like, all right, I'm going to go fight. What's that? I'm going to do that. I want to see, how do I get up there? I want to learn how to get up there. And then you'll see a red guy. He's like, you need the double jump to get over there. And then you get your double jump. You're like, fuck yeah, I got the double jump right over here. And then there's another guy going like, you need the triple jump now, bud, to get over there. And you're like, God damn it, where's the triple jump? And it keeps you entertained, and it keeps you moving along and progressing. I like little accomplishment games where you can get little accomplishments that keep you interested in the game.
Sure.
But fantastic game, really well done. $20, I'd say, like for the little time that I played it, it's a fantastic game for anybody. This is one of those all ages games that I would say like anybody of any age could play it and have fun.
$20. Okay. Any idea how much game there is, or no idea whatsoever?
Well, someone in my chat said I played this game for 25 hours and I'm not done yet. I was like, cool.
Shit. Okay.
Awesome.
I wasn't expecting that answer. Okay, cool.
I mean, that's chat though. I mean, sometimes they're liars, but just telling you that's hearsay.
Was his name Supraland _dev?
Yeah.
That'd be a big tell if it was. I don't know.
It was by Supraland on Steam, and his name had a link, which was very strange.
Weird. That's a weird thing. Next up was We Are Revolution. What is this? What are we doing here?
We the Revolution.
We the Revolution. Sorry.
Yep. We the Revolution is a game you play as a judge in the French during the French Revolution. As a judge of the Revolutionary Tribunal, preside over complicated cases of ordinary citizens, dangerous criminals, and enemies of the revolution in revolutionary Paris. Make judgments, plot political intrigue, and try not to lose your own head. Mostly positive reviews, came out March 21st of this year. Developed by Polyslash and published by Clabber. It is $19.99, it's $20. This game is one of those, it kind of has a This Is the Police kind of a feel to it, with the art style and the not the progression, the time it takes to move through things. I guess that's progression too.
Is there anything?
Anyway,
exactly.
It's the reputation system.
Okay.
There's decisions that you make that affect. You see on the book here on the blue and red icons on the left-hand side.
Uh-huh.
One of those is the people, the folk, the common folk, and one of those is a revolution. And your decisions in court, like you judge people guilty, not guilty, and stuff like that, affect your reputation with those groups.
Gotcha.
Once you get into a trial, you learn that the jury is, as you progress through the trial, the jury wants to sway one way, whether it's prison time or it's acquittal or it's execution or whatever. And whoever you like, if you want to keep your job as a judge, sometimes you have to go against what's right, what's actually the truth. So if you don't want to be deposed as a judge, you have to judge people guilty who aren't and exonerate people who are guilty and stuff like that. And that's where the crux comes in.
Is this kind of like you have to figure out your way through it kind of thing, or is there like Papers, Please, where there's a right answer, and if you get it wrong, then like you're going to be punished kind of thing? Like, did you find it more of the whole time you're moving through it, it's a gray area, or is it a black white and you're constantly trying to find the right answer kind of thing?
It's gray. I believe it's gray. I didn't play it very long, but I think the game starts forcing you, if you want to not like, I don't know, game over or whatever. I didn't play it very long, but it feels like if you don't want to game over, you have to ride the gray. You have to do things that are bad at times. You have to do things that are not just, let's just say. It feels like that because, and also like your decisions will also have positive and negative effects, I think probably every time. If I chose, like one of my first choices was, do you want to go play cards with this like political guy? Because if you do, your standing will go up with his thing and he might do some favors for you. But your family, your kid, your wife, your reputation with them will go down and they'll hate you. And the thing is, the members of your family have effect on things. Your wife will affect your reputation in the town because she'll be like, he was out all night, like, playing blah, blah, blah. Your oldest son will have an effect with the revolutionaries because he's one of them. So your youngest son has an effect on all of the other family members. So if you keep your youngest son happy, the other members of the family will be sort of happy.
Oh, like God, I wonder if you have to judge your family members later.
That's the first thing you do. The first thing you do is judge your child because he was in a fight at school. Oh. And they bring him to you and you have to decide, like, do you punish your own child or do you let him go? Like, you acquit him. And it's great because you're like, good. but he's my own kid. But if I'm seeing it play favorites, then this will happen. So it's a cool like management game where you try to walk the line in between doing what's right and keeping your fucking head on your shoulders.
Yeah. Dang.
Always a plus.
Yeah. It's a cool game. It's a little slow, a lot of reading. I will say that. So streaming it was a little bit difficult, but playing it on your own might be a real treat. 1999, the name of the game, We the Revolution.
Okay. Steam, I assume, is where you're playing this? Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
And then use your words. So really you played 5, right? Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep. Gotcha. That's it.
Cool. That was Indie Sunday on a Monday. What else? Let's do Mortal Kombat. Let's talk Mortal Kombat here. Because I was telling Zeke on Mortal Kombat before we started, and the conversation started out, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that looks pretty cool." And then the more I talked about it, he's like, "Wait, there's a full story. There's storied shit." it's a hell of a thing.
I've heard a lot of people say that the story mode is surprisingly good this time.
Yeah. Before we do this, let's preface it with 2 things. One, me and Co both did sponsor streams for it, so take that for what it's worth. I did not. Yeah, Zeke did.
I have a little thing to say about that before we do, but keep going.
Yeah, and then 2, I think that you have to address this game in 2 different ways. You address the game as a game, and then you get to everything else that's going on with it that a lot of people are obviously upset with, potentially rightfully so. And so we'll kind of address that in 2 different ways. What were you going to say about the controversy? Do what? What was that? I talked over you. What was that?
Game and then the controversy.
Yes. Yeah. True. The game : controversy. That's very true. What were we going to say about the sponsored thing?
Okay, so I did do a sponsored thing for Mortal Kombat 11, but funny enough, the progression of that was I got pinged like 3 weeks ago to do a Mortal Kombat sponsored thing. I get pinged to do sponsored things all the time, as most streamers do, and like most streamers, but this last one, they were like, "Hey, you want to do Mortal Kombat?" Yeah, you doozy. Stop! Don't do that. You know so
You
they're like,
think
"Hey,
that.
are you gonna play Mortal Kombat 11?" And I said straight up, I was like, I did play Mortal Kombat 10, and I kind of like Mortal Kombat games, but honestly, like the last trailer I saw for it, it was like some weird dubstep thing. Like I'm not feeling it. So I told him straight up, like, no, I'm not interested in Mortal Kombat 11. I'll be doing Pathfinder and other stuff during the time, so whatever. Not interested. And then they released the trailer last week. And I remember because my chat was flipping out. They're like, "Co, you need to see this trailer. You need to see this trailer." And I was like, "It's a Mortal Kombat trailer. Like, what could I possibly have to see in this trailer?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I've seen all the fatalities. I know it's super bloody and gory. What do you want me to see?" Oh my God, dude. I felt like I was reliving my childhood.
It was nostalgia overload.
I
Yes.
got more hype for a Mortal Kombat game after the end of that trailer than I've been in over a decade. And I said right there at that point, I said, "You know what? Okay, we're at least trying this.
Yeah.
Like we're done. We're trying it." So then that night, one of the people from my management team was watching the stream during that day, and they were like, "So we heard you wanted to play Mortal Kombat. You know, those things are still available like in 2 days." And I was like, "Engage." Like, let's do it. Like I'm gonna play it anyway at this point. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of funny. I felt kind of dumb though, because I definitely was like told everyone like, "Yeah, I was offered a Mortal Kombat deal and I'm not going to take it, so I'm not interested." And the trailer came out and I was like, "Oh, so that deal I'm taking."
It was a good trailer, man. Comparing last week's trailer where they used like the remix Mortal Kombat movie theme and the first trailer where they used like 21 Savage or whatever, it was a stark contrast, targeting wildly different audience.
Completely night and day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it last week for me, and I think a lot of people, it was, and it kind of speaks to exactly what the game is, which is just nostalgia overload. Like there was so many things in playing just single player, from the characters that pop up to the references that are made and stuff that like, it's very dense in Mortal Kombat lore. Like a lot of times in the story, there's a sentence where they say like 10 different words that are all Mortal Kombat bullshit spelled with K's instead of C's, and you're just like, wait, what? But the Mortal Kombat diehard fan and shit is like, holy shit, he just said the fucking thing. And I'm like, sure, yeah, I'm gonna go punch this guy a bunch of times. Let's see what happens. So, yeah, the game itself, it's one of those games where it's one of those fighting games where I wish I was like actually good at fighting games. Because when you're doing well and you string together a combo in this game, or you amplify an ability and the guy gets punched a second time, you're like, holy shit, that feels really fucking good. Like they have nailed this idea of when something connects in this game, the endorphins kick in and you're like, oh, that felt really fucking good. I just punched that guy. I'm going to do it again, and we're going to see if I can string it together with another thing, and that's going to feel even better. And it's easy enough to where like idiots like me can jump into the game and do like simple combos and feel really good about it. And so it's honestly the type of fighting game where I just want to try to learn to get better at it. But going out of town tomorrow, I'm going to like miss out on kind of that whole hype wave. And by the time I get back, everyone that plays then is just going to be gods at the game, and I'm just going to walk in on my training wheels and get fucking kicked to the curb and probably move on. So
I'll always be there for you to play.
there you
Don't
go.
worry.
We still need to fight. We were going to fight yesterday, but we ran into some issues with the PC release. It didn't actually download the executable file till it fully released on Steam. So Co was not able to play. I started later in the day.
It was a total cluster, unfortunately. But anyway, you want to see what my current frustration is, JP?
Uh-oh.
Right there.
Your D-pad?
See my D-pad?
Yeah, what's wrong with it? Is it just...
It's killing me, dude.
Oh, really?
For some reason, whenever I'm going
You gotta
between...
get one of these, man. One of these right here.
I do.
I bought this for
Yeah,
Soul
the
Calibur
problem-
and used it twice. And I was like, wait a minute, Mortal Kombat's a
The
game.
problem with this D-pad is that there is this super, super little tiny dead zone where if you go from like down to forward fast enough, then you won't be pressing a button momentarily and it won't register. So like I'll sit there like down to 4x, down to 4x, down to 4x. And like the third time I'll actually do the move I'm trying to do. Yeah, I ordered I've got another controller just so we don't have this issue. I ordered it today.
Yeah.
But it was driving me a little bit crazy. But that being said, like what's nice about this game is I'm doing the roll because I'm so used to that. But you don't need to roll anymore. That's just me being old. Like now you can actually press down, press forward, and it works. And when I remember that and do that, it works fine. But my muscle memory from like back in the day and stuff, in my Street Fighter days, it will always be down, right for me. It will never be down right.
I still do that movement for the majority of the moves. And luckily it works when using the stick.
Yeah, you know what? I forgot to change that. People are telling me that I didn't turn off my release check. I may need to look at that too. That may be involved, but I don't know.
There's a lot of fighting game stuff that's over my head.
Yeah.
It's like release check. I don't know what the fuck that means.
The last fighting game I played was Mortal Kombat 10 for about 8 hours, and like that's my fighting game experience. And then before that, it was like 3.
Yeah.
I think for Street Fighter versus X-Men 2, one of those. But anyway, going to the game, like this game is awesome. I was not aware that I was basically going to be watching like a movie with fight scenes that I played in.
Yeah.
Like that's the game. Like it's a basically like a totally, it looks pre-rendered, but it isn't the in-game engine, I think. It's like cutscene, and then the cutscene zooms in on 2 people that are talking to each other. The fight thing comes up, you do your fight, and then the second the fight's over, it zooms out back to right where you were, and the story continues.
Yeah.
There's no loading. There's no, like, it's super easy. And Zeke, this is the part you'll probably like, because it was great for me as a noob. Every single character has a full move list. You can easily see what every character can do, and you can then go into their move list and go over all the moves and hit Y, and it will put them on the screen during the fight. So it's not like you have to go in and like memorize a bunch of stuff. You can all just put it right there in the screen. So what I recommend people do, especially for new people like me, is whenever you're playing a new person in the story mode, go put their special moves on the pin, then go into the combo sections, pick out 2 or 3 of the 3+ move combos and put those on the screen, and you're good.
Huh. I played through the entire single player. Didn't know you could do that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's super handy. So it makes it so like once you get down like a few of the 3 and 4 hit combos, and you learn kind of like how to thread those into a couple of the special moves, and then you know the basic stuff like blocking and throwing and how to cancel those, like you're fine. Like I'm playing it on normal, and I've lost a few times, but mostly because I'm just messing around, and I'm not a good fighting game player, and I'm making progress through normal stories. So yeah, it's super cool.
To expand on that, the tutorial in this game, from what I can tell, in terms of I've dabbled in other fighting games for kind of like what you said for 8 hours or so, mainly because I hit that wall of, okay, I can beat everyone who sucks at fighting games, but the second that I find someone who can literally block, it's over.
There's the easy people and the masters.
Yeah.
And once you get right past the easy people, that's when you're in trouble.
Yeah.
That's when you're in trouble, because every person on that top floor is just so far beyond you at this point.
Yeah. It's literally, oh fuck, they can block. It's over. All right, let's just move on to the next
game. They know how
game.
to throw cancel, I'm done.
Yeah. But in this game, the tutorial, as opposed to other games, is really good. They do a very good like surface level entry into fighting games. So much as like they go into like how to read frame data and like what that actually means. I mean, they're making like very blanket statement, like a frame is 60 seconds. This is what it means. And then you start to like kind of understand that, and you can start to see things that you don't see otherwise, where it's like, oh, this guy's punching me. It's like, oh no, that's got like a certain amount of like wind up to it, and it's not safe. And you start saying all these fighting game jargon.
Vulnerability frames.
Yeah.
Damage deal frames.
And they
pause frames.
There's one of the segments one of the tutorial stuff is like blocking. And it's like, all right, you learn how to block high, you learn how to block low, you learn how to block sweeps, you learn how to block overheads. Now we're going to throw all this stuff at you at once, and potentially in like combo strings. So like block, learn how to play. And I failed it like 2 or 3 times because I'm not good at reading like if he's going to go low or if he's going to go high. And like a pop-up thing came out, and it said, hey, it's better to start blocking low because it's easier to go from low to high than it is from high to low. And the second I learned that, I got it right away. And I was like, damn, I actually like blocked a combo from someone. Like, this is a world's first for me.
Also, overhead attacks are generally slower than ducking down and doing it. So if you're down and blocking, you will get more of a chance to actually get back up. Not only is that a faster frame, but you also have more time to react.
Yep.
So yeah, it's those little nuances, man. Like it's
like,
so easy to miss if you don't know what to look.
It's such a simple thing, and no fighting game has ever like explicitly stated that stuff. And I feel like maybe it's like resource needed to be able to do that stuff, like money needed to do that stuff and create like a tutorial like they've done here. Because Mortal Kombat 10 sold like 11 million copies or something like that was the reported number. So it sold very, very, very fucking well. And so they probably got enough funds for this to be able to do something like the expansive tutorial that they do. Because they have like character tutorials that you can go through that'll like teach you how to string simple combos and like learn all the special moves and fatalities and all that stuff. They even have a practice mode that's literally just for fatalities. So if you just want to see a fatality for every character, you can just jump in, it loads you into the fight, the guy's got 0 health, it says finish him, and then you just do the fatality, and it has a little thing on the bottom ground that's like, hey, you need to be close. Here's the button string at the top, and then you see the fatality. So that's the first thing I did was just go and look at everyone's fatality. It's a big draw.
Oh, yeah.
Final Fantasy is just to load and be like, all right, let's just, oh, there goes his head. Oh, God, okay. You're now eating the brains. Cool. Let's move on to the next person.
Like,
yeah. Well,
it's one thing it makes sense for story mode that you get fatalities.
There's no fatalities in story mode.
There's no fatalities in story mode, which made me a little bit sad. But there are those finishing moves. Good God Almighty! Like, I don't seriously. Like I was talking about this on stream today. I don't know what's next for Mortal Kombat. Like, is it seriously going to get to the point where the finishing moves are like physically dismembering them down to their organs, and then like in the next frame they're back up and like, like how do you go? Where do you go from where they are now? Like at this point, we're breaking bones via X-rays. We're shattering spines. We're literally like shoving metal objects through their head and then like ripping. What? Where do you go from here?
I don't know, but I'm about it. Like it's fucking cool. When it happens on screen for the first time, you're like, I watched back. Chap made a bunch of clips of me just reacting to, like you're saying, the fatal blows is what they're called in this. And it was just me visibly reacting to these fatal blows that would occur, like where you do that. Well, that's a little bit different than a fatal blow, but yeah. And it was just a look of like horror and like, and then it was done and it was just a smile. Almost every single one, because they're just completely outrageous. And the fatalities are 10 times that, 10 times crazier.
Now, do they have the simplified fatalities that you can do like a one button push for that, like they did last game?
Now they have these. There's this new coin system where you can earn different like coins by doing this thing called the Krypt, which is like has the towers. It's a free play mode, and when you have a coin, there's a coin that's like easy fatality, like the letter E, the letter Z fatality. So I think that's the one button press.
Yeah, and it's like it's like
earn them. You get to do it all the time.
I think that might have been in 10 as well, or something. I feel like that system's been in one of the other games before.
It may have been.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like a one button press. But the fatalities are not bad. It's so much so that like you don't have to. You can actually input the fatality too fast sometimes. Like you can go pretty slow. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so it's not difficult. You can more often than not. It was me pausing, going to the option menu, look at the menu, let's go to the fatality, reading it, seeing what it is, saying the 5-character string to myself, going back in game, doing it, and getting it right the first time. So it's not super difficult to pull it off.
Did you get the fatalities from a list, JP?
Yeah. There's only one fatality that's visible, but you can do the second one.
If you would have hit Y, it would have just put it on the screen for you.
See, and I didn't know that because that's brilliant. They need to make a bigger deal of that.
Anything your character can do, be it normal combos, special moves, combos, or fatalities, any of those, you can put up to 10 of them on the screen.
Man.
And you can just pick max. You can like pick and choose whatever you want to do.
If I wish I would have done that for the final fight.
Can you cut it? This is kind of spoiled.
I mean, it's like the first 10 minutes of the game, but I understand.
Well, the part coming up after this is a little.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Those that haven't main story yet. It gets. They have some fun with the main story of Mortal Kombat 11.
It's dumb. It's the dumbest story, but it's like in the most fun way possible.
they have some fun with it. And what's pretty hilarious is this is definitely one of those games where it's like, these are the established rules of our universe. Next fight. None of them apply.
Yep. They have a lot of fun with it. I mean, it's a Mortal Kombat story. If you've played like 9 or 10, it's that on steroids with really good production values. Like the jokes land, the voice acting, apart from Sonya, who's Ronda Rousey, who can't really read a line to save her life, is pretty good, but she definitely stands out. She definitely stands out.
My chat was understandably giving Rhonda a lot of flack today because we got to a few back-to-back scenes where she was like the centerpiece, and like I was telling people, like chat was getting a little bit mad at Rhonda, and the TLDR here is don't be mad at Rhonda, be mad at whoever thought it was a good idea to put her in that voice. Like somebody made the decision to put her there for her name, not her talent. No offense to her, she's great at what she does, but she's not a voice actress.
Yeah.
So it's just, it becomes like it's really weird sometimes because she'll be around people that are actually pretty good at voice acting. So you'll get like these really pretty decent VAs, and then it'll go to her and it'll be like completely flat and unreactive, and then go back to someone being really surprised and emotional, and then it's just like, oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, a quick question, just a side note to anyone who watches wrestling. How's she doing in wrestling? Is she any good?
I don't know.
Or is she
doing that
bad?
too.
She was in the big WrestleMania. Yeah,
I said she was an MMA fighter today, and everyone started correcting me.
she was in the. Yeah, she doesn't do MMA anymore. She was in WrestleMania, I think, like the big bout, but I don't watch
she already
wrestling.
left?
Oh, she quit. She's done.
Oh,
I didn't realize that.
Wait, she left wrestling
No, she left MMA.
or wrestling?
Yes.
And she is wrestling these like right now.
As far as I know, yeah. As of 2 weeks ago, I know she was at WrestleMania. Also, this is my favorite fatality right here that I've seen. It's Baraka's. He walks up and literally pulls all the flesh off of someone's face. And then he's like, nope, I want your actual face. And he pulls it off, and then he grabs the brain and takes a bite of it. And you're like, well, that's really ridiculous, Baraka. But
Their brains are delicious.
Baraka was
Of many required minerals and vitamins.
a lot of nutrients. A lot of nutrients for sure.
and I can't be alone. And the first time I heard of Barack Obama like running for any office, I was like, say Baraka? What the fuck?
He's
Because I had never heard that name outside of Mortal Kombat.
What's going on?
I had never heard that name outside of Mortal Kombat.
Sure.
Funny little tangent, by the way. Barack Obama also pulls brains out of people's head and eats them.
That's what I've heard.
I mean, it's crazy, right? How they say, yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. This one's also really fucked up. So one of the other things, and I think this is solvable, but the stick that I'm using is a PS4 stick, and the buttons on the PC are Xbox notations. So I was having to like decipher. Oh yeah, it's a new species. That's the name of this. I was having to like mentally decipher. Oh no, it's not done. He pops his head out too.
Oh, that's the thing shit right there.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
If you've never watched The Thing, John Carpenter's 1986 The Thing, watch it. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, dude. I watched a YouTube compilation of just the scenes from that movie, and it was one of the most horrifying YouTube videos I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Oh my god. Also, there was a scene with that bug lady in the main story that definitely like no. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
She's probably one of the biggest offenders in terms of like grossness, I would say. But that's saying like grossness in a game where in the story there's a scene where there's just a human body hanging and a saw comes down and like cuts the body in half and then cuts the head off and no one says anything about it. Yeah, this area right here, like it's just normal.
No, look in the background of this area.
Oh, is that happening?
Those cyborgs, look in the back right now.
Uh-huh.
Look at that thing coming in off the side there.
Oh.
See what's hanging on it?
Yeah, it's a spine. Okay.
Yeah. It's like it's basically on the other side of this room. They rip the people apart, and then you can watch as they pull it over to this side of the room, and then they like insert them into those things there.
Yeah.
Don't worry, this is fine. She's fine.
She's gonna stand up right after this fight.
Mortal Kombat.
This one's weird to me. Like Katana's just like, I want to create a whirlwind of blood and intestines, and then
Oh, she exsanguinates somebody.
If you noticed, she was sucking the entrails out of the person. I think that was the
it's an odd thing.
God, I haven't seen a lot of these. These are
they're really good. The fatalities in this game are really good. I was super.
How many for each character?
What was that?
Oh wait, did you not unlock Frost yet?
No, so Frost is unlocked through story, and this is the first thing. Literally, the first thing I did yesterday at the start of the stream was go look at the fatalities. So I didn't have Frost unlocked yet. What was that? What did you say, Zeke?
How many for each?
Two fatalities. Sorry, I didn't realize what you were saying.
Okay.
2 fatalities per person. The first one's unlocked and visible. The second one, you can basically just like you did back in the day, you can find the input command on the internet, or, and I guess we can kind of jump to the other side of Mortal Kombat right now. You have to find fatalities. One way to find them, besides looking them up on the internet, is to unlock them via the Krypt, which might be one of the bigger offenders right now for a lot of people. The Krypt is basically a third-person 3D microtransaction store, where the way that you unlock things is by doing things in the game, story, fighting people, whatever, and you get coins with a K. And you go into the Krypt and you walk over to a chest and you open the chest and it gives you things. And my understanding is those things, yeah, he ripped through them. It's great having these on the background and people seeing them for the first time because they're probably not paying attention to what I'm saying. But my understanding is these things within the chest are not set like they used to be in previous games. And you can actually reset the chest to continue farming them at a certain point in time. And so a lot of people are very upset at the grindiness for this whole thing to unlock almost everything in the game. You unlock outfits from there. You unlock different brutalities, which you can't actually do until the brutalities are I think the one thing that you can't actually do until you unlock them from the Krypt. But brutalities, fatalities are in there. There's a bunch of different artwork stuff that's thrown in there. Yeah. And it's kind of causing a lot of issues right now because it is insanely grindy, and the way that it is designed behooves someone to spend money. And that's where a lot of people are upset because, microtransactions have made their way into a Mortal Kombat game. So, yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing, or not here's the thing, but let me ask a question. These are all cosmetic things and fatality things, right? This does not affect how moves, right? You can play the game and win. You have all the tools there. None of those are unlockable, right?
Yes and no. In terms of ranked multiplayer, yes. When you buy the game, everything that you want to be able to do to play ranked multiplayer is there and unlocked.
Okay.
In terms of other modes in the games, different items that are unlocked from the Krypt will give you more bonuses because you can basically spend, I want to say jewel crafting from another MMO is how I would relate it, but you can slot different things into different sets of gear, and that will increase X stat on that character, and those X stats and those X consumables that you get. He gets hit with a tomato. Those X stats and X consumables that you get are some of the only ways to defeat this stuff called the towers. And the towers have some of the best looking skins. It's a lot of the end game grind stuff is all the towers. And that's where a lot of people are upset because no matter what your skill level is, you can't really do the top end towers unless you have this stuff that you've gotten from the Krypt, that you've grinded out a bunch of coins to go and unlock, etc. And so that's why they're changing a lot of that stuff, but those changes I don't think have been published in terms of how they're going to change them. So a lot of the controversy lies there for sure. And rightfully so. I think that's, I understand what they're doing from a business point of view. I understand that they're kind of trying to also increase the length of time that someone plays this game so that they don't just do what I'm doing right now, go see every fatality, then never play the game again.
I'm actively avoiding looking at this. So,
No, I totally get it. Yeah, because there's fatalities are a big draw, right? And so I think fighting games have a struggle with kind of what we were saying at the start of this of keeping the noobs, the easy players for longer than a week, because eventually you're gonna find someone that's half decent at the game and you're gonna get absolutely slaughtered and you're gonna get frustrated and you're gonna quit. And so I think that's kind of their way of approaching that. The shitty thing is that there's money involved, and of course the internet's going to lose their shit when it comes to that. I think I saw a stat. I think Bikeman tweeted out that in order to buy everything, Cassie Cage is pretty good. In order to buy everything, it's $4,500 if you were to spend money. 64 or
something.
Okay. Yeah,
Nuts.
it's a lot of money.
People in chat are saying 6K over and over again.
Okay, then maybe it's 6K.
Like before, like as we were watching this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's, they did the research.
But it's all cosmetic shit though, right?
It's cosmetic
That's
in the
what I
sense
wanna
of that it'll boost your character in order to complete those towers. So in a sense, it's technically required to unlock some of the harder stuff to unlock because you need those gear boost to be able to defeat those challenges.
But that's like solo player stuff.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because there's non-ranked mode where some of this stuff will apply, I think, if you're fighting other players online. Like, I think you can take your gear into there. But the second that you go ranked, it all turns off.
Okay.
And I don't think you can outright buy skins like it's a Dota or a League of Legends. So if you're looking for, like, the badass Scorpion skin, the only way to get that badass Scorpion skin is to do the towers of whatever the stupid thing, the towers. I don't know what the full name is. And the only way to do those towers is to grind out the coin within the Krypt. And the way to speed that up is by buying that stuff. And so that's where people are kind of losing their shit about it.
Right. So it's not pay to win like battles versus other human beings. It's pay to win the solo game or pay to complete, I guess.
Yeah, my understanding of that. I'm sure I don't have
or grind. You can grind for 3,600 hours or whatever the fuck people were saying.
Yeah. That's one of the coolest characters, by the way, Noob Saibot. I think his design is one of the best for sure. He's fucking awesome. So yeah, I definitely understand all that stuff. I think if you can get past all that stuff and you're just looking for a good fighting game that is fun to play, and that's it, and you just want to take it online or you want to play with a bunch of friends sitting around a couch, like, this game's a lot of fun to play. But the second that you kind of step into the microtransactions shit, it starts to get a little gross in some aspects, for sure. And that's where
So tell me something. Do you think that anyone is looking at this microtransaction thing and how long it takes to unlock and going, thank God I have years to play this game for free?
What do you mean? You want to? It's not free though. What do you mean by playing it for free?
I'm saying like the Krypt, like you have to do the tower like over and over and over and over again, right? Really, really low drop chances, really low things. I'm wondering if there's any like, and actually this is a serious question. I'm wondering if anyone is like, because like think of an MMO.
I see what
you're saying. A lot of times people are like, oh, I get to the end game and there's nothing to do and I have to wait till the next expansion and stuff. I'm wondering if there's anyone that's like, man, I'm really glad it's going to take me a hugely long time to unlock stuff so I can play this game and still have things to do for years to come.
Totally. 100%. I think those people exist.
Chat thinks no.
Well, I think chat's upset because that's the internet and they're upset. Those people probably don't even care about Mortal Kombat. They're just here to talk about microtransactions and how it's the devil of the game industry.
I am really curious because I mean, it's the kind of thing where sure, they could make everything in the store and all the cosmetics easy to get and you could get everything there is to get in a month. Or they could make the drop chances really low, make them all really hard to get, and extend that out to be like half a year to a year of near everyday play.
Right.
And it's kind of weird because I feel like there's people in the past. I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think they should have done that without the cash shop.
Right. And that might have been the way to do it. But monetarily, that doesn't work for a company looking to, boost profits. Yeah. Right. So
I feel like it's a good idea, but the cash shop ruins it. Kind of just like it's the dark cloud that kind of hangs over that idea.
It really is. Yeah. And
now that I'm saying it out loud, that would be awesome if there was no cash shop. Can you imagine? Like think if there were skins that you would see in multiplayer where when you saw someone with that skin, you would know, oh shit, that guy has 500 hours of play. He's beaten the hardest thing 6 times. If there were actually like achievement skins. That'd be so cool. But I'm assuming you can pretty much buy everything, right?
You can't outright buy and this is where I start to get a little hazy because I didn't invest too much time in understanding the system. I don't think you can outright buy the skins, but you can buy the resources to be able to get the skins. I don't know. Chat might be able to answer that a little bit more if they stop spamming 6K.
Sounds like you're directly buying the skins. So you can't buy skins, but you can buy the gold that buys the skins.
You can. I'm going to stop answering this and let chat. Okay. I don't want to get in trouble.
We'll do this more.
My understanding is limited in this regard.
Well, yeah, the thing I'm a little bit confused about is if you can't directly buy them, then how is... Because I remember seeing that number that calculated 6,000 number was like down to the dollar. It was like 6,435 or
Right.
something. So it makes me think if RNG was involved, how would the number be so exact?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe you can just outright buy the resources to grab the skins or something like that. Because there's
Or maybe that was like average. Oh, okay.
Okay.
People in chat are okay.
Okay, so it's an average. That's what people are averaging it out.
Looks like it potentially. 6K is with perfect luck. Oh, he assumed there were no doubles.
I don't think do doubles exist because that's really shitty if they do.
Oh, I have no idea.
And
Random,
the-
but can't get a duplicate.
Okay,
Oh,
I knew it was random,
I
but
think doubles do exist.
fuck, that's shit.
Is it like Overwatch though, where you can sell your doubles or something? Maybe.
I don't know if it turns into currency or whatever to like craft.
Yeah, one of us definitely needs to do this before we keep talking about it.
yeah, and again, I
Sorry,
I
chat.
said, I feel like that there's really two games. Like there's the main game, there's the actual like fighting. It's good, but yeah.
JP, we got to bring in our ringer next week. Let's see if Max is here for next week. We can bring on a pro.
Yeah,
He can give us the full rundown.
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was potentially gonna ask him this week, but I think with like the Mortal Kombat's massive, both as a game and both on Twitch. So I kind of figured he was
probably busy.
He's probably busy doing his own stuff. That's kind of what I figured. So I might reach out to him next week. Yeah, it's just fun to beat people up in Mortal. It just feels good punching people in Mortal Kombat.
Not only does it feel good, but as somebody who is very not good at this game, don't let the fact that it's a fighting game scare you away.
Yep.
Even just the single player story is fun. And like, again, being able to put moves on the screen makes it so much easier. Like it's fun. It's fun.
I had a lot of fun playing and it took me, what was I saying? I think it took me 6 hours ish to get through the single player on normal yesterday. Yeah.
Speaking with JP, I'm going to be playing Mortal Kombat Friday morning. I've got like 2 or 3 hours left, and then I've got another hour to kill before I'm leaving for the day.
I'll still
So
be
if you
in
want
San
to
Francisco.
fight, oh, bummer.
I'll be back Saturday. I don't know if that'll miss its mark. We could do something Saturday morning, maybe.
Maybe,
know,
yeah,
we'll
we'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk. But yeah, that's Mortal Kombat. It's out there. I'm sure that stuff will continue to. NetherRealm's
We also got a bunch of DLC coming out. with
Yeah,
it.
NetherRealm's already out there saying that they're looking into the tower stuff and the microtransaction stuff, and that some changes are coming. I think Ed Boon tweeted like yesterday that it's potentially hours and not days away.
Yep.
So
Ed Boon, this is from the official MK Discord. We appreciate the feedback on the game so far. We continue optimizing MK11 for each platform to address recent concerns around the Tower of Time and the Krypt. A patch will be rolling out ASAP. We apologize for any inconvenience this has caused. And then Ed Boon directly says, in case you missed yesterday's combat cast, we have a hot fix and improvements coming to address those super hard towers of time, as well as better rewards and economy to be used in the Krypt. Expecting it'll be more like hours than days. We'll keep you posted.
cool.
We have a fix. And then finally, the message, we have a fix for super hard towers and are working to get to everyone soon, hoping to clear up any confusion. And that was end of the day yesterday.
Yeah, I think two sides of that coin is like, why did they launch this stuff and then decide to fix it after it was an issue? Why didn't they fix it before? And blah blah blah. But they're addressing it at the end of the day, so hopefully it's addressed properly.
I can answer that one for you, JP. They were hoping it wouldn't be an issue.
Oh, totally. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. It's got it.
Yeah, it's definitely a worse sorry situation.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
Sorry.
But hopefully it's Warner Brothers doing that, not necessarily NetherRealm that are doing the worst sorry movement.
Yo, you already spent $6,400? Oh, did you see the part that said no refunds at the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, man, it's a weird thing when a game just releases and there's like no drama around it these days. It's very like Days Gone. Do you think it's going to release this week and there's not going to be drama around it?
Oh, I know. And it's crazy because another conversation we were having, like, it's wild how 10 years ago we would look forward to the next game in a franchise. And now here we are in 2019, and all we are is concerned for the next in every franchise. It's no longer like, man, I can't wait for this next game. It's like, oh God, I hope it's not shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that the way? Isn't that the way it's become? It's like, I can't wait for the new installment of blah.
Well,
and then it's changed to like, it better not suck or I'm gonna burn the internet down.
Yeah, man.
Dude, now it's just like, I hope this isn't the one that kills the franchise. It's happened so many. Deus Ex is gone. Mass Effect is gone. They're all gone.
I was thinking about this yesterday with I went on this wild, like almost thought trip of mine. Think about Assassin's Creed Unity when it launched and the shit show that was, right? Okay.
We don't talk about that, JP.
Right. We don't even talk about it. That's how bad a lot of people are Assassin's Creed Unity is like one of the bigger things to happen in recent years in games. Okay. Now think about 2 weeks ago or whenever that was when Ubisoft made Unity free because of the stuff that happened at Notre Dame and the like outcry of positivity and support for this stuff. Right. Okay. And people are like, oh my God, Unity's free. Let's jump in. Let's play the game. You can get it for free right now on Uplay. 2 days after that launched, there was an outcry with anger being the emotion that was outcried because people that had bought it days before it went free were upset because they spent money on it, not knowing it was going to go free. Right. So then Ubisoft then allowed refunds for those people that bought it days prior. And now we're here where we're celebrating Assassin's Creed Unity 2 years after the fact. A game that was like vehemently just destroyed on the internet for existing. And now we're like, oh, it's so great. Ubisoft is they're amazing. Such a great
It's
company.
Really incredible
Fucking
how good you can feel about a product when it's not ripping you off.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. You're not wrong.
When it's not just existence is the purpose of a cash grab. It's incredible. That's the thing. Like it's two different products. Like the $60 Assassin's Creed that released was an Ubisoft cash grab that didn't move the franchise forward at all.
It didn't work.
It was terrible. It was terrible. But the Assassin's Creed now is like the saving grace of a burned down relic. That's and the company's giving money to them, and it's free. Like this is a completely different product.
Weird,
completely
man.
different product.
It's fucking weird.
Oh man.
Weird. Cole, you're still playing the Pathfinder Kingmaker. I think I nailed that name right for the first time. I know that you've been replaying it, and I think you just now eclipsed where you were the first time through. So nothing really new to report, right? Still the same. Well, besides the fixes that occurred between now and then.
Not only that, like the big thing with Pathfinder is, and I'm not going to talk about this too much because everyone can stop by my channel for the 300 plus hours that I've played it, and I can give you this. Pathfinder started as a buggy, incomplete mess, a collection of half-finished ideas, a collection of half-finished mechanics, huge plethora of bugs. And the entire time I was playing the first time, it was just this constant slow motion forward of, God, I hope this works. When I came back 6-ish weeks ago and decided to completely restart my run, I'm playing a different class, and I've played through the entire game again. And in 6 months, this game went from what I just said it was to the best CRPG since Baldur's Gate 2.
Damn.
Bold claim.
They have been working on this game non-stop. There have been 2 DLCs. There has been new functionality added. They have quashed every major bug I've come across. It is one of the better success stories that I've ever seen. And if this had been the way that the game was when I played it the first time, it would have been my game of the year 2018.
Yeah, it fell on your list though. Where did it fall?
10.
It was right on the cusp.
It was 10. Okay.
And that's because it was like the reason that it was 10 was because I could see the greatness, but it was obscured by all the issues. Like I wanted to love Pathfinder, but when it came out, I couldn't. It was a mess. I couldn't even beat the game. I got a 160-hour playthrough. I couldn't finish it because it was just too buggy. And yeah, the playthrough I've done now, it's been night and day. It's been absolutely night. What's even crazier, I did 160-hour playthrough the first time, caught up the second time in 125 hours, had just as much fun the second time playing it. They had added and changed that many new things in the main story. The entire kingdom management system was basically redone to make it easier. They balanced it out much better. They added in like teleporting around the world map, which is amazing. They balanced the city building stuff. Like I could just go on like I'm doing now. I could do this for another 10 minutes. They did this, they did this, they did this. Like it really is like a good example of a company releasing, let's put it bluntly, they released a shit product and they raised their hand and said, damn, this is not our best foot forward. And they spent the next 6 months fixing it. And now here we are, and it's amazing.
Nice.
Well, you got it. You have to answer the question in chat. The question in chat is Divinity Original Sin 2. Is it on par or better or whatever?
I get that question so often that I made a video about it. It's co.tv/CRPG compare. It's a 5-minute video that compares Pillars of Eternity 2, DOS 2, and Pathfinder. The TLDR is DOS 2 is a little bit more polished. It's definitely snarkier, and in some ways it is better. But Pathfinder is a larger game. It has, in my opinion, a better mechanical rule set because it's based on the Pathfinder 3.5 PNP. And it's arguably just a different scope. It's a different scope than DOS 2. And honestly, I kind of prefer it in a lot of ways. And DOS 2 was my game of the year when it came out.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yep.
And what's going to be good is ask me that same question later this year, because I'm actually going to be replaying DOS 2, the definitive edition, through a brand new playthrough. So in other words, just like we gave Pathfinder a chance to kind of realize its vision, when I played DOS 2 when it came out, it was so buggy that my endgame in DOS 2 was bugged. There were characters in the ending of my game that weren't supposed to be there. So and the whole final fight had people in it that weren't supposed to be there too. Like it was a complete mess. So when I played through DOS 2 again, I'm really looking forward to kind of like, let's see what's happened over the last year. I've heard amazing things. I've heard it's gotten to be like rock solid awesome. Nice. So I asked me this year and we'll do a real comparison later.
Sounds good. I'm just looking through games that I played to see if there's anything. I didn't talk any about Overcooked 2, so I'll take my time now to make a hyperbolic
Yes,
statement.
tell me about that.
Yeah, I'll take my time now to make a hyperbolic statement, just like Co did about CRPGs. I think this might be like one of the best co-op games that I've played since like Borderlands 2. It's a
I thought you were going to say cooking game, like just co-op in general.
Yeah, man, that game was, and maybe it was because I think we might have mentioned this last week, or maybe it was off stream, Zeke, or Court of Swords or something. For whatever reason, Dodger was the person that I sought out to play Overcooked 2, and I could not have picked a better person to play a stressful, intense game with, because there was no fighting, no stress, never raised our voice. We were cool, calm, and collected the entire, I don't know how long it was, 15 hours of playing this. And we were actually fucking good. We were legitimately good at this game. We 3-starred everything. I've heard that this is easier than Overcooked 1. I've never played Overcooked 1, so I can't attest to that. But yeah, we did everything except for the new DLC that I think launched like 2 days ago or something like that. It's a hell of a game. It's delightful. It also is very easy to see how this game could turn into like screaming at other people at very loud volumes, because towards the end it starts to do shit like, and this is pretty simple, where the ingredients are moving there from left to right at the top. There's ones where you have to like go and control a crane to move your partner over to a chopping station, and then you have to run and grab the dishes to have them move you over to the dishes station so that you can wash the dishes and then give them the dishes so that they can serve the food. It gets pretty intense in terms of the levels and layers that you have to kind of go through and the types of food that you have to cook through. But it was great. I had a fantastic fucking time with this game and speak very highly of it. Cannot recommend it enough. If you're looking for couch co-op, we were playing online multiplayer. It goes up to 4 people. 2 seems more manageable. I don't think the levels change. I think with 4 people, you can be more confined to like stations. So one person's always chopping, one person's always serving, one person's always mixing, and one person's always washing dishes or whatever. You can kind of compartmentalize the game in that regard. But yeah, we had a great time with it. It's super fun. And it's very cutesy with that's King Onion and Kevin, the dog. And they're the two main characters that tell you to go do stuff. Very loose story. Doesn't much matter. This is the DLC that you're seeing here. Not the new DLC, but the DLC before that. And yeah, it's a good game. I highly recommend this game. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty cheap too. It was only, I think it's $20 on PC, $20 on Switch as well. It's on a lot of different platforms. And it was a great time. So I recommend it for sure. And if you're going to play this with someone else, it is a great test of one, your ability to communicate, and two, your ability to trust in that person, and three, your ability to not get mad at that person when they fuck up. It's a true test of all those things. Like, I think it would be a lot of fun to watch Zeke and Man vs. Game play this, without a doubt. There would be screaming.
People have said that.
There would be punching. There would, or you guys might just like synergize and get into it. I don't know. It could go either way. It'd be a lot of fun to watch. So that's for sure. So yeah, that's Overcooked 2. We do have the Crazy Dan question corner is what we're calling it. Code doesn't know about that just yet. That's a new segment here on Drop Frames. But I want to go through just some news real quick to see if there's anything.
Oh, also for me, Outward, Rage 2, Pathway, and Operencia.
You played Rage 2. I do want to talk about that. How was that? I forgot that you played Rage 2. How was it?
It felt like Doom plus Far Cry. Like it's basically like, yeah, for those that don't know, basically what happened.
That's out already?
No.
Bethesda flew out to North Carolina, and I met them at a secret undisclosed location because they would not bring it to my house because it's like, I kid you not, the hard drive that held Rage 2 has a number pad on it. And you have to put in a code and hit enter for the hard drive to turn on. And then you can't copy anything off it. You can only load it as a virtual disk and then run things off of it.
Did you have to play it on like an air-gapped PC? It's like some of that just seems like for show. That seems crazy.
No. The whole point is that, and as they told me, it makes it so it's that this is the only method they have that makes it so if it got stolen, it would be impossible to copy. Like if they lost their bags at the airport, then somebody like take the thing and like, oh look, I have the Rage 2 build.
Well, was it like release build? Or was it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes a little bit more sense then. Okay.
That's the thing. Like the option was I was either going to fly out to Bethesda, and I said, no, I'm not traveling right now. So Bethesda said, okay, we'll fly to you. And I was like, oh, that's a new option.
That makes sense.
Let's do that. So basically they flew out and I met them there an hour early, and it was a computer that they hadn't used before. So we spent an hour trying to get it set up, and we couldn't get it working. So here we are. I was supposed to play the game for like an hour before I went live. It's 30 minutes before I'm supposed to go live. And I'm literally like prefacing the tweet. Like, hey guys, sorry, technical issues. We're not gonna be able to show Rage 2. So as I'm writing this tweet, I look up and I just go, you guys want to come to my house? and they're kind of sitting there and they're like, we could. So at that point, we load into my car and I drive them 30 minutes to my house. And we delay the stream for 15 minutes, and we all pile into my office and like get everything set up. They hook that crazy laptop up to my computer or the hard drive, and they put in the code and everything, and they get it. So essentially, we did it all at my house. So while I was sitting here streaming, the Bethesda dude was sitting here in a chair, like messaging his team and stuff on his phone.
Dude, so I've had that experience, and it was with Final Fantasy 15 where I had Square employees sitting like 5 feet from me as I was playing. That is really intimidating. It is. Yeah, that experience was definitely one of the more intimidating streams I've had.
Now, thankfully, the guy that they sent out is this awesome dude named Sean Baptiste. So for those that haven't heard of him, if you know him on Twitter, he's a guy called Senpai Notices You. He's really big in the Twitch community and stuff. So that's the dude they sent out. He was super chill. Yeah, so it was a very positive, good experience. So essentially what they did was I ended up having no time to play it beforehand. So they just dropped me in the game. They gave me the keybinds and they said, go wild. So essentially for about an hour, I got to test any vehicle. I got to play with a bunch of the weapons. I got to check out a lot of gravity exists.
Thing. Yeah, okay.
I got to check out a few of the different locations. And the TLDR for Rage 2 is it has the open world feel of like kind of like a Far Cry game, but it has like the visceral combat of a Doom game, and then it has a lot of rage stuff in there, and there's a huge amount of upgrades you can do, different vehicles, customizations. Like there's just a lot of seeming meat in the game. All weapons have like a bunch of different fire types. You get abilities, and all the abilities have skill trees that you can change and have them do different things. The abilities synergize with different weapon types. A lot of times ADS will change the way a weapons function. Weapons have little skill trees that you can then upgrade in different ways and stuff too. But again, like it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really fun to play. But the important thing people understand is this is basically Far Cry plus Doom. So in the hour that I played, like it's not reinventing the wheel. Like I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. But it is kind of like an open world Doom style shooter. I didn't get a chance to really get to know the story or the factions, the characters too much. So that's a big part of the game I'm looking forward to. The world is split into different factions, and each faction has a level. So there's some kind of system where if you do certain missions for certain factions, they level up and unlock like new things and new abilities and things of that nature. This is all the different vehicles that I had unlocked. Apparently there's some more vehicles as well. Jeez. And all the vehicles have their own upgrade tracks as well. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that was really nice is that the world felt very alive. So one of the things I noticed is driving between locations, there were random NPC cars on the road. There would be random traders that would like drive by me, and a button prompt would pop up, and it's like, press so-and-so to flag down the trader. At one point, I was just driving down the road, and like this giant convoy goes by me, and all of a sudden a boss fight popped up. So like it was this kind of weird thing where I was blowing up cars besides them, and there were these giant missile carriers that would like sometimes open up weak points while they were shooting cannons at me. So, you know, the whole time the boss is yelling at me through his loudspeaker. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It really wasn't buggy at all. It ran pretty well. It felt good. I loved the when combat got really heavy and you start throwing out abilities and ground pounding and like putting in grenades that suck everyone in and explode and stuff. Like it felt good. It felt really good. I mean, so that part of the game, that was really good. And I think honestly, that's probably what most people are going to be playing the game for. It did have a little bit like where Rage was a little bit more like dystopian future. You can definitely tell that this game is more Borderlands future. So okay. It's there's a lot of over the top to be over the top. Lots of pink, bright neon colors all over the place. You know, it seems like one of the factions is basically just a big joke meme faction. Like it's not nearly as bad as like a Watch Dogs 2 kind of thing, if you know what I mean, where they're like really trying hard to be like hip with the kids. It's not like that situation, but it definitely is like it's not dystopian future. It's like over the top comic future. Okay. Yeah. So, and that's not everyone's thing. It's not really my thing, but it didn't detract enough for me not to enjoy it. So it was good. Yeah. By the way, those big pink arrows are my waypoint indicator. I saw some people asking in chat what that pink on the road is. That's just the arrows to my next destination. Oh, so you're just chasing this convoy and going the wrong way. Yeah. I just decided to randomly start chasing this convoy here. And you can see I'm going against the arrows because I'm not going to my waypoint anymore. Yeah. But yeah. Maybe the trailers were cut in a way to be a trailer, but this definitely looks slower than the trailers that they've shown. Maybe because this is the driving combat and not necessarily the ground combat. I was going to say, if you go a little bit about through there, I get down into the ground stuff, and you can see it really pick up. I also, if you ever just see me sit still, like this is the shotgun. So if you fire the shotgun normally, it does a big blast. But if you do ADS, then these vents open up in the side. It melts all of the pellets together and fires one big blast in a straight line, which is pretty fun. Yeah. And a lot of the weapons have different effects like that. The assault rifle has this interesting thing where it has like these crazy vents on the side. So when you jump and ADS in the air, it keeps you in the air so you can float. So there was an upgrade to one of the cars that gave me an ejector seat. So what I did at the end is I was going super fast at a camp, and then I ejected out of the car and held right click. So I was floating above the enemies, just pouring down on them with an assault rifle. And then I started using abilities up there too. I mean, there's some cool stuff. Like there's a lot of fun little just super actiony synergies. This is the overkill mode. That's every gun has its own overkill mode. Oh, damn. So whenever you go into overkill, there's the ground pound. It activates like a sub effect on the gun. So like the shotgun sets people on fire. The assault cannon gets slower, but the bullets start doing much more damage. Stuff like that. All right. Yeah, this looks a little bit better.
Combat wise,
If you go a little bit past this part, right on the other side of this section, in like this one little building, like right there, I'd say. Yeah, right here. The beginning of this section was crazy because like it was just non-stop enemies for like 5 minutes. And I was just sitting here like trying to figure out different ways to do it. Also cool about this game, if you look in the bottom left, there's a combo counter. So it really does give you incentive for like doing things differently and mixing it up, and don't just use the same move or one gun all the time. Like it gives you reason to give it some flair. If you follow me.
Yeah.
So,
what difficulty was this? Is this just like normal?
I think it was normal.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know if there's a difficulty selector. If there was, I didn't see it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, for full disclosure, they had me load in a saved game. So when like basically I didn't even start a game. It just right on the main menu load game and then went in.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean I was already pretty interested in this game, but the combat here is looking pretty good. And the idea of a Far Cry with, like you said, Doom FPS, I'm kind of into that.
Into that. It works well. It's a surprisingly visceral synergy. And also the nice thing is the vehicle you saw earlier that looked a little slow, they're motorcycles. Like there are some vehicles that are very fast. So it can get you between the Doom-esque land parts pretty quick if that's what you want to do. There's also giant, slow-ass monster trucks with huge cannons on the tops of them. So I mean, take your flavor. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Looks good. Cool. That's out May 10th. Is that right?
One other fun thing. Unfortunately, we didn't get to show this off, but one of the reasons they actually flew out was they wanted to show some functionality. When Rage 2 comes out, there's going to be a Twitch extension that you can install on your overlay and then link to your account. If you remember in Rage 1, whenever you died, there was a defibrillator minigame that you had to do to bring yourself back to life.
Oh, God, can chat.
In Rage 2, your viewers play that minigame on your overlay. So we don't know exactly how it's going to work because unfortunately I didn't have the chance to test it. But the thinking is that whenever the player dies, that the viewers will then get a chance to play this minigame. And when X number of viewers do it, or if X numbers of viewers succeed, then that's what brings the player back. There is also other functionality that's going to tie into that. A big part of this game is the racing. Apparently later in the game, there's all sorts of races you can do and unlock and things like that. If you are connected via this extension, the racers you are racing against are your subs.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And
I
like
think it's
real
subs,
time?
not necessarily subs and viewers. It's people from your chat.
Is it real time or is it like Ghost?
I believe it. Well, no. They're not controlling the car. No. They just show up above it.
Oh,
so it basically like, it's
I'm
just
glad we clarified that. Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So basically like, it may be like the last 10 people that talked in chat or something like that. They then become the names of the people that you're racing, which is kind of fun.
That's cool.
So, and I think there's more stuff like that kind of in the game, but this is kind of, from what I understand, the first time Bethesda's really kind of done this. So we may be just seeing like foundational groundwork for bigger things later.
Cool.
I don't know how far they're going to take in here. Oh, here's the motorcycle.
Yeah. May 14th.
It looks exactly.
I was just going to say May 14th is the release. I looked it up.
There's this motorcycle here. For those that remember the game Full Throttle, they're the those cave guys that ride with their heads face forward on down. This thing reminded me so much of that whenever I rode around in it.
Nice. Zeke, you were gonna ask some?
Yeah. How is the sound design or OST?
Sound design was good. OST wasn't super memorable. I didn't come away from it going, oh my god, like I heard some incredible tracks, but there are some incredible things going on in this game with the music and sound design. I was able to talk with some people after the stream about some of the stuff that's coming that we didn't get to see, and I can't talk about it, but there's some stuff they're doing in this game with the sound and music design that is completely next level, and I'm very much looking forward to people getting to it.
Cool,
including myself.
Well, because I mean, I'm watching this and I'm hearing like all kinds of different styles, like soundtracks and stuff like that. And I'm just imagining what kind of music would go best with this. And I'm just curious as to the style of music, if they settled on like a particular genre or like, crosses
of the
genres
games that I
whatever.
mentioned earlier that this game is similar to. I think that we can probably it's ID Software.
Yeah, it's closer to Doom than it is Far Cry music wise.
Yes,
I'm sure. I mean that logic makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah,
As it should be.
As
it should be. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I need to make this.
But metal should be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So to make this super clear, also some people that were and I get a little bit confused about this. The Bethesda is the publisher,
Right.
not the dev. Bethesda did not make this game. They are only publishing this game.
It's not id though doing the developing, right? Or is it?
No,
id?
no. It is developing the new Doom game. This is it's not. Oh God, why am I blanking?
Chattled. I just have the wiki open. I can pull it.
I think this is actually Avalanche.
Uh,
It's Avalanche, but ID is helping.
Avalanche Studios, yeah, is the
Yes,
developer pinned to it. ID
Yeah,
essentially.
but I think ID actually did have some influence. Actually,
Makes
a
sense.
little bit.
That's pretty typical in the Bethesda
Regardless,
realm.
it's good.
Cool.
Like I can tell you from being someone who's played it, like it feels good. It plays well. Like it ran well. I think we had one crash during the thing, and I later learned it was a crash that had something to do with the dev kit. So, yeah, I mean it was solid. It felt solid. It played solid. It's solid.
Cool. Looking
From
forward
the
to
hour.
it.
Out of curiosity, can you do you know anything about because someone who can't aim very well, those people are idiots. But can you pull off a melee build perhaps, or is it pretty much strictly shooter?
I'm pretty sure when I looked at the arsenal that it was mostly range based weaponry. There are powers that are definitely melee centric. Like you do have a melee attack, and that melee attack can be charged up via your powers and stuff. Also, I mean, there's a ground pound. So the ground pound is a radius around you. So it even though there are a lot of guns, there are many guns designed to be short range, large, conical, like shotgun type weapons. And I would say that unless you wanted to play as a sniper, you probably don't have to. Like there are a lot of
as long as I can get up there and close quarter stuff, that's fine.
Oh, also, I didn't mention this. This is a really cool thing. If you hold down Shift, at that point you enter power mode, and R, F, and V I think are your three main powers, and then space bar is your jump and ground pound. However, if you tap Control, it is a dodge, a super fast dodge that you can go left, right, forward, or back. And there's a lot of enemies in the game that have moves specifically countered by that dodge. So there's like this dude later in the game that had this big shoulder cannon, and he would like charge up his beam. And if you dodged right at the right time, you were fine. But if you were just strafing normally, it would hit you. So there's like this whole little kind of almost Dark Souls, not really Dark Souls because it's a lot faster, but there's a dodge mechanic in the game too that really kind of amps up the melee feel of it. Like where you're constantly having to move and kind of stay on the fly and use your powers whenever they're up and that kind of thing.
Cool. Seems good.
Yeah, I said Dark Souls, but that was a terrible example.
Oh, I'm sure you rustled some jimmies in chat without a doubt.
Oh, I'm sure I did. Yeah, it's an instant dodge. It's more of a slide. Like your character's just like.
Yeah. Is there an easy mode? Talking about Dark Souls, is there an easy mode for this game? Jesus Christ. Quick, let's get everyone right away from the topic. Let's move on. Get out of here before it starts. Quick tidbits of news. Nothing really major. Then we'll do some Q&A before we end. This is not the biggest deal, but it's the biggest deal when compared to history. So the motion capture wrapped up for The Last of Us Part 2 about 5 days ago. And the comparison that people are making is that when Nolan North finished motion captured on Uncharted 4, the game released about 5 months afterwards. So a lot of people are thinking that it's going to be launching this Christmas-ish. So that would be awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah, I'd be into that. But there's nothing grounded in there. Who knows? Who actually knows?
In that case, we'll get that date at E3 then, probably.
I bet you we get a date. 100. Well, Sony's not at E3 though. You got to remember that. Unless they're going to put out like a one of their.
Oh, and Last of Us is Sony exclusive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
So they'll probably do like a Sony, whatever they call their Nintendo Digital Parallel, the Sony Short, or I don't know what it is, but they'll probably do one of those, and I bet you The Last of Us is in there, because it's looking pretty light right now for the holiday season, and The Last of Us would be a big thing for sure. So I hope so, because that's a game that I'm super into, and I think a lot of us are super into.
I'm really, really trying to be unbiased about but if it releases this year, it's
game of the year.
It's gonna be my game of the year. It's gonna be the game of the year for me.
Yeah,
For sure. Like it sucks. Like I don't want it to I don't want to be that biased, but like, yeah.
This is how you karmically kill games.
Don't do it. Don't karmically kill it.
Please don't. At least knock on some wood or something near
Look,
you.
Zeke, if Last of Us 2 sucks, it's your fault.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, seriously. And we can actually, someone save this clip. If Last of Us 2 is bad,
If there's any negative thing in Last of Us 2,
it's his fault.
it's that guy over
It's his fault.
over there. It's Zeke's fault. 100%.
I'll take the blame.
He'll take the blame.
I'll take the blame.
Okay.
This is not gonna suck. I'd bet both of my testicles and one of my arms that it won't suck.
Okay.
Well, Zeke Jr., I became famous the day my picture was passed around the world when I made Last of Us 2 suck. Everyone knew who I was. Everybody. I got huge in Japan overnight. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
You want to know what started World War III? Well,
Oh, God.
therein lies a tale.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What else is out? Oh, the Kingdom Hearts 3 Critical Mode stuff finally released. Apparently, it's like having HP and MP. There's some extra abilities that are being put in earlier and some other changes to that. A lot of people have been asking if I'm going to play through it. Not at the moment, but maybe somewhere down the line. I 100% of that game, and it was a lot of cooking, and I really don't want to revisit that right now.
I gotta say, man, it's gonna be interesting to see, like, man, attractions are super overpowered and terrible, to thank God attractions are in this game.
Oh, yeah.
I can imagine that's the super hard mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just farming attraction events pretty much.
Yeah.
One of the reasons, honestly, that I don't know if I'm gonna try it because of that.
The attraction stuff? Yeah.
Well, because like attractions are so overpowered. So it's like if you
They
play
really
the
were.
game on critical mode, do you have to use attractions whenever they're up? Like, is that the game in critical mode? Is just spamming those every time you see them? Because if that's the game, I don't want to play that game.
Yeah. I would agree. I think a lot of other people would as well.
And that's all. I think that's
KH3
it.
critical
I
mode
think
has an
that's
ability
it.
to disable attractions.
Okay, well, there you go. I didn't
There you
realize
go.
that. Cool. What were you going to say, Zeke?
There.
I think that's it for game news. I don't think there's anything else coming out at all. There's nothing been released and no one's talking about anything. Have you been looking at chat? Because chat is like exploded with Persona 5 Royale
I don't
shit.
I don't have chat open. I did see
Oh,
that.
you don't have chat open? Oh, okay.
I did see the Persona 5 stuff. I was getting to that. Yeah. But
It's actually Persona 5 The Royal.
the
Sorry.
Royal. You're accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put out a
Royale.
3-minute, 25-second trailer, which I have not watched. Do you guys know what this actually is? This launched 6 hours ago. And
Apparently there's a new Phantom Thief.
This. Yeah.
You're upset that this exists? What was that called?
No, I'm avoiding it. Like people apparently there was a small riot in my chat when I logged off this morning without watching the trailer. So I promised everyone I would watch it at the beginning of the stream tomorrow.
Okay.
Apparently there's stuff in it that's supposedly, like, we'll see. I don't even know what.
This is apparently what's in it. New confidants, new locations, new story events. Something has someone. I'm not going to read that. New side events. Battle system upgraded. That's it. I mean, I say like that's it, as if that's not much, but yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah. If that's
Can you give
really
me a thumbs up
spoilers,
if you're
how do
done?
you exist on a daily level if that's spoilers?
We're good. No, I mean it's just general shit, code. Just general shit. Like it's updated graphics, new music.
Like, hold on, time out, stop.
General shit, right?
JP, do you realize what you just did, or are we just like going through this?
I have no idea what I just did.
I literally went, I'm saving it because I don't want to know what's in it. And then the next line you said, okay, let's go down what's in it. Doodle-doo-doodle-doo-doodle-doo.
The most generic stuff. Hey, did you know at the grocery store there's ice? Because that's basically what I just said about the train.
Dude, you can tell JP
okay.
No, that
I
type
really
of stuff
my
is
ear.
frustrating when people get
I
upset
thought
about
you
it.
were like, here was the big reveal. Here was the spoiler. Here was this. And
No,
it's just
I didn't say that at all. Yeah, I just said like the most generic terms of what was in there, without a doubt.
okay. No, see, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what it is. I don't know if it's an expansion, a game, a BR. Like, I'm trying to.
Gotcha.
All I know is the name, and that's it. So I'm trying to
Okay.
like, I'm not looking at chat right now because I'm sure they're telling me.
Noted. Zeke, what are you reading?
Can I tell you it's coming stateside next year. So it's not even this year. It's not until 2020 that it will come to the United States.
Makes sense.
Well, actually, the real question is though, is did you see it coming? Because
You never.
you never saw it coming. Is the thing. That's you didn't. Woo! Hashtag ad. Okay, we're done.
What am I wearing today? Nope. Okay. I was wearing my no more. I was wearing my I was wearing my no more rules shirt yesterday.
Nice. Cool.
I was wondering if I slept in it and just rewore it.
And then the last bit of news that I have before we get to Crazy Dan's question of the week is not really news. And honestly, I feel a little bit like PRE doing this, but something that I'm excited for is Saturday was the 1 year anniversary of God of War coming out, and Sony was out there talking about this thing that they're calling God of War Raising Kratos, which is a full-on like documentary about God of War, which went through the entire development process, which the stuff that they showed for that looks really fucking cool. It basically looks like a no-clip documentary that's not including no-clip. So I'm super excited for that stuff. I don't know if any of episodes have come out for that yet, but I'm eagerly anticipating that stuff. It looks really cool. Definitely go check out the trailer if you're at all interested in God of War. And now, with 5 minutes left, we have Crazy Dan's question segment of the week. And we'll also, for Co and Co's viewers that aren't aware of this new segment, Crazy Dan's a longtime viewer of mine who has he has a problem, simply put. And his problem is that he just asks too many questions. Just on a week-to-week basis, there's probably about 75 to 100 questions that he puts in chat. And we had a conversation, and we've dialed it down to every single week he gets 3 questions. And those 3 questions, no matter what, no matter when they're asked, I have to ask them in said show, whether it's drop frames, role play, normal stream, whatever. So we have 2 submitted questions. It's a lot of power he wields.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
with power comes responsibility. Because last week he asked a question on if he can somehow gain questions, and that was the question of the week: was if he could gain questions from week to week.
Oh, it's like the genie thing.
Yeah, you got to be real careful with this stuff. It's powerful. It's powerful. All right, first question. He says, "It always feels to me anyway." It says, "Hey JP, it always feels to me anyway that you seem to have a nice happy medium between Co's intellect and Zeke's crude nature. When hosting the show, how do you feel your co-hosts complement your personality?" And I think we can kind of
text you.
No. My mods pull the questions out and send it to me specifically. This is a full-on thing. Like there's a bot command, and it's a real deal. This is not just a gimmick. How do you feel your co-hosts complement your personality? I think it's more that the games that we play complement each other's personality in the sense like like we were talking about. Zeke played indies. We talked about indies with Zeke. Co plays a lot of CRPGs and more like story-heavy based games. That's what kind of Co brings to the game. I'll jump into a lot more like multiplayer, hardcore multiplayer aspect type stuff, and that's usually what I'll bring. Every once in a while, a game comes around that we all get to play and we all enjoy, kind of like Sekiro. And that's awesome because we all approach that game completely differently. And I think that's, if you go watch our playthroughs, you'll get that right away. I was talking about how like Zeke used one of the ninjutsu in a way that I had not even contemplated using it. And I'm sure Co did a lot of the fights completely different than myself or Zeke did. So I think that's kind of how we all complement. And that was definitely something that was not planned, I think, from the get-go. What I need to do one day is go back in my email and read the pitch email to both of you that was sent. Because I bet you that is kind of revealing in terms of what was said. Because I don't even remember what was said back then.
Well, dude, I remember our first conversation because I pitched you the title like a tavern. And then you took the name and made it what it is today. So like I told you we should be the dropped frame. I was like, it's like a role. It was like an inn, like the dropped frame. Like that was good. I was like, yeah, that should be the name of the title. And it was like, you were like, I think it says something along the lines of I like that, but it's a little bit too like shoehorny to RPG. And then you were like, I wonder if drop frames would work. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good too. Like, yeah. So, and that was
5 years
I think
ago.
that was, or you know what? It was after.
It was after Intel stuff. Was it after West Marches?
I think it was after an episode of the West Marches, because we were talking about like, man, we should just do a show on Twitch sometime. And then you were like, yeah, I used to do this show called Real Talk, and then it kind of like that's when I learned that you did that, and it kind of went from there.
My timeline's completely messed.
I don't remember what happened last week, so I'm surprised I'm even remembering this. One thing that is kind of interesting is I'm trying to remember when Zeke.
See, because I thought it was all around the Intel popularity contest that was.
Yeah, I think after the completion, shortly after the completion of that competition, is when you got a hold of me, and it took it because I found this out later down the line, but I think you had the idea for the show, and I was like not one of your top 3 choices.
To be fair, you still aren't.
True.
I know. I honestly
I'm what
don't
you
remember.
get. I'm what you can get.
And that's not me being nice. I honestly don't remember.
Hey, availability is a powerful thing.
Yeah. No, I remember because you thought about getting Day 9 to do this to see if he could do it.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Sean's super fucking busy, so yeah, it makes sense why he's not.
Right. Exactly.
I should dig up those emails and see if they're worth reading on air, because that would be pretty funny. So yeah, that's question number 1. Question number 2 was directed to me, but we're gonna include you guys as well, because I think it's a fun question. He says, "Is there anything in particular that actually inspires the 3 of you to stream on Twitch?" It always, and then he kind of goes into me. It says, "It's always unfortunate to see you have trouble with that, and was curious to see what you keep going what keeps you going other than paying the bills." I think that's a pretty safe to say a common theme amongst all streamers is like, what is it that gets you to turn on the stream every single morning? Because it's not necessarily the easiest thing. And I think that also you kind of have to find, like, that's not a singular thing. At least for me, it's not. It's not a singular thing. It kind of changes from time to time. One easiest answer is like, I'm super excited about this game. And so here's the game that I get to play that day, and I'm super excited about that. Another one could be like, I'm super excited to do, or to play this game with X person, or to do a show with these people. That's definitely a lot of fun and something that week to week is enjoyable. Yeah, those are my 2 quick answers. I'll spend some more time thinking about it. But what about for you guys? What is something that kind of inspires you apart from, being a job and paying the bills?
Well, for me, like, it's kind of funny because people ask me, I get 2 questions a lot. What would you be doing if you weren't streaming? Mm-hmm. And what would you be doing if you won the lottery? And my answer is exactly the same what I do every day now. Because I've already won the lottery. I'm a professional streamer on Twitch. That's basically how I feel about it. Like, it started where getting on every day was kind of a joke. Not a joke, but well, it is, but getting on every day used to be like building something. It was kind of like, I'm starting on Twitch. I mean, the first couple to like 2 to 3 years, it was all about like, I'm adding to the total. I'm moving forward. I'm working on something I'm passionate about. Like, it was very much kind of like the grind. The first couple to 3 years of my stream were, like many streamers will tell you, were the grind. But then it just kind of became its own machine. And these days, I just get on not only because I'm super passionate about games, but also because I love seeing the same people every day. Like, I've kind of sacrificed a lot of my actual social life for my Twitch social life. And I say hi to the same. I've been saying hi to the same people every morning for, in some cases, over 5 years. The exact same people.
Yeah.
So for me, it's going into Cheers every morning. I walk into my bar and I say hi to all the regulars, and I take my seat and I take out my games and I play games.
I definitely think that each streamer kind of has their own little tribe, as it were, that they stream to. And I think the longer you stream, kind of like what Ko was saying, like that tribe starts to be more apparent, and you start to see the same faces and same people and kind of understand each other. And that's cool for sure, without a doubt. And that's not saying like other streamers, that's simply just like viewers and mods and longtime viewers and
especially mods, man. Yeah. People that help you make the show every day.
Yep.
I'm trying to speak for every streamer when I say that I don't use the term family often, but that's about as close as it gets for me. Is like a really tight mod team. Like, I call all my mods jail buddies. It doesn't matter what hour of the day it is. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. If you call me from jail and you need me to come pick you up and bail you out, I'll do it. Like, I'm a jail buddy. Maybe we didn't talk for 2 years. Maybe it's been 10 years. But you know what? A jail buddy's a one-way thing. If you're ever a jail buddy with me, you can call me in 10 years, 20 years. I'll be there. So
I thought you were going to say like you're getting in trouble a lot, and yeah. deal
No.
with
Well, yeah, that's
I didn't
that's
know
different.
where you were taking that, but okay, I get it.
That's a different analogy for a different day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zeke, do you have an answer? Any thoughts on it?
Well, just real quick, speaking of that point, like as far as mods and like seeing familiar faces and that kind of thing go, like I've made the best friends that I have now in the past 6 years of doing this thing, and like I've become a part of like at least one family. Like their kids call me Uncle Zeke. It's crazy. It's crazy like how many connections and relationships that I've made from this whole Twitch thing. But ask me the question one more time, because I had a good answer, and I want to
Let me pull it up here real quick. Is there anything in particular that actually inspires you to stream on Twitch every single day? Curious to hear what keeps you going other than paying the bills.
Oh, other than paying the bills. Okay, so money was taken out. Okay, good. Because that's definitely like a part of it. Fuck yeah, man.
Totally.
That's like the first thing that I think when I wake up. It's like, if I don't it's the first thing I think of when I don't want to stream. Is if I don't want to stream, it's like, man, I'm missing out on like getting paid today, or gaining subs today and shit like that. Sure, that's a concern.
Well,
yeah,
and also Zeke, for you, it's a little bit different because you're like an actor. You do stand-up comedy. Like you do a lot of non-gaming things. Like,
sure.
and you're good at them and you're passionate about them. Sure. So I completely see why it's more of a job for you, because you have lots of different interests.
The motivation for me to keep streaming every day is, I mean, I don't want to like copy Co's answer, but it's streaming is something that I would have and did do for free. It's like I bring this up quite a bit. I used to do a lot of community theater, like plays and musicals and stuff. I used to like spend hours like every day after work or after school or whatever. I would go and do 3 hours of rehearsal, and then for like 3 weekends in a month, like every like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would do a show, and I made $0, absolutely not one dime doing that, and literally hundreds of hours and hundreds of different productions. Why did I do that? Because I loved it, because I would do it for free. If I wasn't getting paid to stream, I wouldn't stream as much, but I would still definitely find time to stream, because my work is my pleasure. There are certain days when I kind of have to motivate myself to do it, but mostly 99% of the time, it's a joy to come to work every day. And yes, there is that meeting people and like seeing familiar faces and stuff. And but I also look forward to like the new games to play with, like in discoveries with chat and having conversations and that kind of shit. I mean, it's no mystery as to what motivates streamers. I don't think, like, for them, you'll get a similar answer for the most part from a lot of streamers.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty universal.
I think that's one of the reasons that, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the most like enticing jobs in the world right now. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if most folks wouldn't mind doing this for a living.
Without a doubt. I mean, it is highly glamorized. Not
everyone, of course.
As well.
Not for everyone, but yeah.
yeah. I think it's highly glamorized, if that's a term that I guess that makes sense.
By the way,
on like YouTube and Twitter and whatnot, for sure.
Good questions, Dan.
Yeah, see, this is why it's a thing. Crazy Dan does the good questions when he's not spamming 100 of them. Dude. When he got
like a new thing. We're gonna do this every week.
I think so. If he wants questions and drop frames, yeah, we'll definitely ask them. He has one remaining for the week.
Please. That's right. Good job, Dan.
Yeah.
I like this.
I think Crazy Dan 05, I believe.
Yeah. Just to speak to chat, saying like, no, I wouldn't. No, I would. I mean, this is a form of entertainment. There's a lot of entertainment that I watch that I wouldn't want to do, like cooking show. Like if it's I wouldn't want to do that. I don't care to cook. I don't like cooking.
And like all that.
I don't care to do it, but I like watching those shows, and that's fine. But it's entertainment in and of itself, and also that's why it's difficult to break into, because it's difficult to be an actor, a dancer, a singer, anything like that, because it's a big saturated market, and you have to be good, but you also have to be lucky.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We've talked about that extensively on the show.
Yeah, well, for sure.
For sure. Co, were you going to add to that?
No, I was just going to make a dirty joke at Zeke's expense. It's not important.
Okay. Great. Good. Fantastic.
Aw, I want to hear it.
He'll be on mute later. Or we can do it now.
You want? Okay.
Dirty
Yeah,
joke.
fun to watch, but not like you always want to get into. Kind of like all that bestiality porn you have, Zeke.
Now, listen, that is in the past. That is no longer me. That's not the person I am today. Okay, so
Oh, fuck.
That was a beautiful follow-up.
I was tried, convicted, and I paid my debt to society. You know what? End the show, JP. I'm done. I'm getting mad.
It reminds me.
That was a great situation where what I said wasn't very funny, but then Zeke made it funny. So thank you for that, Zeke. I appreciate that. That was super cool.
Chemistry.
There you go.
Way to put that layup up there.
There you go. It's the improv elevation of everyone else. That's how it goes.
That's why Zeke's a professional, man. There you go.
All right, let's do some shout outs and get out of here because I got to go get on a plane. Zeke, start us off.
Yep. You betcha. Thank you all for watching. As always, I appreciate that. Welcome back to Co. It was good to get the boys back together again. Get the band back together. It was great. Also, JP, as always, for being being JP and being the guy, being the man. My name is Ezekiel III. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. After this, in about 45 minutes, give or take, I will be on twitch.tv/Table Story. We'll be continuing our run of Nocturne, the gritty present day supernatural Stranger Things with a horrible twist tabletop RPG. That's what we're doing, and I'm really, really proud of this show. I would love you guys to check it out. That's happening in about 45 minutes. Twitch.tv/Table Story. But tomorrow, very awesome gaming stuff happening at noon Pacific. I will be playing Days Gone. I've been waiting to get my hands on this game and play it since I saw it at E3, and I finally get my chance, and I get a day early. Thank you to Sony for that. But that's happening at noon Pacific. I got it downloaded. It is ready to go. I can play it right now if I want to, but I won't. I'll wait for you guys. So that's noon Pacific tomorrow, Nocturne tonight, or in an hour.
I'm going to make the same joke that Co did. You better get started on that download quick, man, if you want to be able to stream it tomorrow.
It's already done, baby.
Okay. I was going to say, it took me the entire show to download it.
When you guys were talking about Anno, that's what I was doing.
There you go. Good call.
Cool stuff. Co, some shout outs.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, it is so great to be back. A huge thank you to JP and Zeke. It has been a tumultuous 5-6 weeks, but we are back and things are good. So this is going to be a pretty crazy next few days for me. So tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. EDT, our very first look at Days Gone. We're going to be doing that from about 8 to 12. Then tomorrow afternoon, we have our next Pantheon developers stream. For anyone who is following the game Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, we're going to be doing a dev stream with Brad McQuaid and the rest of the devs tomorrow afternoon. Then Friday morning, we're going to be finishing Mortal Kombat. Then Friday afternoon, I am off to go turn in my sports car for my new dad car. So that is going to be interesting. But anyway, and then this weekend, all sorts of fun stuff coming out. We got the Sekiro finale, probably the Pathfinder finale, more Mortal Kombat, maybe more other fun stuff. So it should be good. But anyway, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. See you tomorrow for Days Gone and Pantheon, or later for Mortal Kombat and whatever else we have coming down the pipeline.
What type of dad car are you getting?
A BMW M5 competition.
Is that a dad car?
Got 4 doors and can fit child seats, so it's a dad car in my mind. Yeah.
Okay. I guess when I didn't know what that actually was, but you said BMW, so my mind immediately went to like sports car. But okay.
It's got 4 doors and can hold kids, so it's a dad car.
If that is the baseline for dad car, then sure, yes, all out. All right, we're out of here. Thanks everyone for watching. Dropped frames. We'll get the VODs up as soon as possible, and the MP3 as well. We'll see you next time next week for more. We'll see you then.